Hollywood loves to sell us dreams, red carpets, perfect smiles. We're like a family on set. Yeah, right. Behind the scenes, some of these stars act less like icons and more like total nightmares. From diva meltdowns to straight-up bullying and bizarre behavior, here are Hollywood jerks who prove that fame doesn't always come with basic human decency. Number 1. Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres built an empire on kindness dancing into living rooms, cracking jokes, gifting cars, and preaching, "Be kind." But in 2020, the curtain got yanked back, and suddenly America's nicest talk show host looked more like the plot twist villain in her own feel-good sitcom. It all started when comedian Kevin T. Porter tweeted asking for stories about Ellen being mean. And oh boy, Hollywood didn't just whisper, it detonated. From fans to former staffers, people unloaded stories like they'd been waiting their whole lives. Ellen scolding employees over their scent icing out staff she didn't like, or firing off insults with the precision of a stand-up sniper. Things escalated fast when allegations surfaced about a toxic work environment on her show. Some employees spoke about racist remarks, microaggressions, and a culture of fear where everyone just prayed they wouldn't be the day's target. One person even claimed Ellen tried to get her fired from her second job over chipped nail polish. Yes, nail polish. Suddenly, the woman known for surprise hugs was accused of giving emotional chokeholds behind the scenes. Fans were stunned. Viewers were confused. And Hollywood went, "Yeah, we knew." Ellen promised to improve things, but the damage was done. In the end, the biggest shock wasn't that a celebrity had a dark side. It's that the Queen of Kindness might have been ruling her kingdom with an iron, perfectly manicured fist. Number 2. Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard is known for delivering powerhouse performances on screen, but off-screen. He's more like the chaotic subplot nobody asked for. The Empire star has built a reputation for strange opinions, questionable behavior, and enough awkward interviews to power an entire season of reality TV. One of his most infamous moments came during a 2007 interview with Elle, where Terrence decided to share his, let's call them, unique thoughts on women's hygiene. According to him, women aren't clean unless they use baby wipes because apparently Terrence Howard fancies himself the CEO of cleanliness. The internet collectively said, "Sir, please sit down." But his quirky views aren't the only reason Hollywood side-eyes him. Terrence has long been labeled difficult on set, demanding, and unpredictable. His biggest career mess getting replaced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He played James Rhodey Rhodes in Iron Man, then vanished faster than a post-credit villain. Rumor has it he wanted a massive pay raise and clashed with the studio so hard they threw the War Machine suit straight to Don Cheadle. Between his bizarre philosophies, diva-like demands, and professional clashes, Terrence Howard has earned a reputation as Hollywood's brilliantly talented but endlessly baffling wild card. Number 3. James Corden. James Corden may look like the cuddly, karaoke-loving host America adores, but off-camera, oh boy, different movie, different genre. While he beams on TV like your friendly neighborhood jokester, countless stories paint him more like the final boss of restaurant customers. In 2022, a famous New York restaurateur straight up banned him, calling Corden the most abusive customer in 25 years. That's not a title you win accidentally. Witnesses claim he snapped at servers, talked down to staff, and unleashed diva-level rage because, brace yourself, his wife's omelet had a little egg white in it. Truly a tragedy worthy of Shakespeare. And it doesn't stop there. Fans say he's yelled at busboys, dismissed people who approached him politely, and acted confused whenever told, "You can't sit there, sir." Online, former staffers and audience members have described him as entitled, short-tempered, and allergic to basic manners. So while on TV he's singing duets with superstars, laughing his way through punchlines behind the curtain, he's become Hollywood's unexpected villain, the cheerful charmer who transforms into a customer service horror story faster than you can say carpool karaoke. Number 4. Jesse James. Jesse James once had the bad boy charm, the TV fame, and a marriage to America's sweetheart, Sandra Bullock. But behind that motorcycle rebel persona was a plot twist straight out of a messy reality show. His downfall began when the world discovered he wasn't just cheating, he was practically running a loyalty program for infidelity. And yes, it all unraveled while he and Sandra were in the middle of adopting a child. Timing 0 stars. When news broke that he'd had an affair with tattoo artist Kat Von D, the public collectively gasped, then facepalmed. Overnight, Jesse went from cool custom bike guy to Hollywood's most disliked man with a wrench. But he didn't stop at cheating. Oh no, there was the iconic photo of him wearing Nazi-related memorabilia. Because if you're trying to destroy your career, why not hit the self-destruct button twice? The scandals torpedoed his marriage, torched his public image, and turned him into a walking cautionary tale. Jesse didn't just fumble the bag, he threw it into oncoming traffic and blamed the road. And in the grand tradition of Hollywood train wrecks, he remained bizarrely unapologetic through it all. In short, if heartbreak, bad decisions, and terrible branding had a poster boy, Jesse James would be grinning on the cover. Number 5. Reese Witherspoon. Reese Witherspoon may look like the picture-perfect Southern belle, America's sweetheart, with a Harvard law degree, well, technically Elle Woods' degree. But in 2013, she delivered a plot twist worthy of a courtroom drama minus the dignity. After a night out, Reese and her husband Jim Toth got pulled over for DUI. While Jim tried and failed to ace his sobriety test, Reese decided it was time for her starring role. She hopped out of the car against police orders and unleashed the now iconic line, "Do you know my name?" Spoiler, the officer did not care. When her Hollywood VIP magic didn't work, she doubled down, arguing, demanding answers, and turning a routine stop into an accidental audition for Most Entitled Celebrity Cameo. Moments later, she was arrested for disorderly conduct, proving even America's sweetheart can have a not-so-sweet night. The incident shocked fans who were used to her polished powerhouse image. But Reese owned up, apologized publicly, and walked away with a life lesson and one of the most unintentionally hilarious celebrity arrest quotes ever. Turns out even Elle Woods can't object her way out of a DUI stop. Number 6. Jared Leto. Jared Leto is known for throwing himself into roles with the intensity of a man who thinks Oscars are handed out for suffering. But sometimes his method acting crosses the line from dedication straight into, "Sir, this is a workplace." Take his turn as the Joker in Suicide Squad. Instead of just cackling maniacally and calling it a day, Jared apparently decided to terrorize his co-stars with a grab bag of gifts that belong in a police evidence locker. We're talking a dead rat for Margot Robbie, bullets for Will Smith, and brace yourself, used condoms for others. Hollywood collectively asked method acting, or cries for help. And it's not just on film sets. When he isn't brooding in character, Jared fronts the band 30 Seconds to Mars, where he's been known to lose patience just as quickly. At a 2011 concert in Brazil, he reportedly flipped off a fan for not knowing all the lyrics. Because nothing says rock star connection like giving your audience the middle finger. Fans also recount times when Jared and his bandmates signed autographs with the enthusiasm of people filing taxes, barely looking up, barely speaking, definitely not smiling. So while his performances are undeniably unforgettable, Jared Leto's behind-the-scenes behavior might be unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. In the end, he's Hollywood's ultimate wildcard, part musical genius, part acting chameleon, part guy you do not want sending you a package. Number 7. Jesse Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg may play sharp, fast-talking geniuses on screen, but off-screen, that quick wit can sometimes land with all the softness of a brick. Fans adore him for Zombieland and Now You See Me, but plenty of people also know him as the guy who can turn an interview into a masterclass in awkward tension. His most notorious moment came during an interview with reporter Romina Puga. From the jump, Jesse seemed determined to treat the whole thing like a roast battle no one agreed to enter. He poked fun at her notes, teased her for writing questions on her hand, and when she tried to keep things moving, he replied, "You're on my time." Charming, right? Puga later said. She felt humiliated. Jesse said it was all just misinterpreted humor. Ah yes, the classic, "You didn't get my joke" defense. The internet took one look at the video and collectively said, "Nope, that's rude." Comment sections lit up, calling him cold, dismissive, and elite-level obnoxious. Not exactly the magic act people expected from the star of Now You See Me. Still, Eisenberg insists he meant no harm, even claiming he tried to apologize afterward. But the damage was done, and the clip lives online forever, ready to reappear anytime someone says, "Hey, isn't Jesse Eisenberg kind of intense?" Number 8. Naomi Campbell. Naomi Campbell may be one of the most iconic supermodels to ever stomp a runway. But behind the flawless walk and legendary poses lies a temper that could cut sharper than any designer heel. Glamorous, absolutely. Intimidating. Also absolutely. Throughout her career, Naomi has been followed by stories of explosive outbursts, especially toward her assistants, and not the casual bad day kind of outbursts. We're talking full-blown headline-making chaos. Her most infamous moment came in 2006 when she allegedly threw a cell phone at her housekeeper's head hard enough that the poor woman needed stitches. Forget Fashion Week. That was Impact Runway. And this wasn't a one-time meltdown. Several former employees have spoken out about being yelled at, insulted, or even physically confronted. Working for Naomi has been described as a high-stress job, where one wrong move could send you straight into the path of an airborne accessory. Despite the turbulence, Naomi remains a fashion legend, an untouchable force who basically shaped the 90s runway era. But her off-the-catwalk reputation, let's just say some people think she could give the Devil Wears Prada boss a run for her money, and possibly her cell phone bill. Number 9. Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts may be America's sweetheart, on-screen, radiant smile, rom-com royalty, the woman who made Big Mistake. Huge, iconic. But behind the camera, sometimes that sweetness allegedly comes with a sharp edge and a side of diva drama. Take her time filming Hook in 1991. Cast as Tinker Bell, Julia reportedly earned a far less magical nickname, Tinker Hell. Crew members claimed she locked herself in her trailer, showed up late, and carried the kind of attitude that makes directors check their blood pressure. Even Spielberg, the calmest man in Hollywood, was said to be, let's say, challenged. And that wasn't her only on-set feud. During the making of I Love Trouble 1994, Julia and co-star Nick Nolte clashed so badly, the production had to resort to filming their scenes separately. That's Hollywood code for these two hate each other so much, CGI is cheaper than therapy. While Julia remains beloved by millions, these behind-the-scenes tales paint a more complicated picture, one where America's sweetheart occasionally transforms into America's sassiest storm cloud. Still, if anyone could smile her way out of a controversy, it's Julia Roberts. One flash of that grin, and suddenly everyone forgets about Tinker Hell. Number 10. Kiefer Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland may be the relentless, tough-as-nails hero Jack Bauer on 24, but off-screen. Let's just say the drama doesn't stop when the cameras do. Kiefer has a reputation for living life like every day is a season finale, complete with plot twists, legal trouble, and the occasional headbutt. His rap sheet reads like a wild Hollywood bingo card, multiple DUIs, bar fights, and one legendary 2007 arrest that earned him 48 days in jail. Imagine Jack Bauer behind bars, it practically writes itself. But the most eyebrow-raising story comes from his time on 24. Co-star Freddie Prinze Jr. didn't mince words calling Kiefer so unprofessional, it nearly made him quit acting altogether. When another actor says you almost ended his entire career just by showing up, that's a superpower, just not the good kind. And then there's the infamous 2009 party incident where Kiefer reportedly headbutted a fashion designer, supposedly to defend Brooke Shields. Because nothing says chivalry like a surprise forehead assault at a cocktail event. Talented, absolutely. Intense, without question. But according to half of Hollywood, working with Kiefer might feel less like filming a TV drama and more like surviving one. Number 11. Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire may have played the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but off-screen, some say he's more like the not-so-friendly guy guarding the neighborhood HOA. While Peter Parker saves the day with charm and heart, Tobey reportedly brings a whole different energy when the cameras stop rolling. Fans who approach him for photos or autographs often describe him as irritated, dismissive, or just flat-out uninterested. Basically the opposite of the guy who once danced down the street in Spider-Man 3, and yes, that's saying a lot. On set, rumors say he wasn't exactly the easiest web-slinger to work with either, sometimes clashing with directors and co-stars despite his squeaky-clean on-screen image. But the real plot twist, Tobey's secret life as a high-stakes poker shark. Host Molly Bloom, the queen of Hollywood's underground poker rooms, described him as her worst guest, stingy, despite huge winnings, and not above humiliating people for fun. In one infamous moment, Tobey offered Bloom a $1,000 poker chip, but only if she barked like a seal in front of the entire table. Yes, Spider-Man demanded seal noises. Marvel could never. Number 12, Edward Norton. Edward Norton is one of Hollywood's most gifted actors. Fight Club, American History X, Birdman. The man has the range of an entire film school. But behind the genius, there's a reputation so infamous it could earn its own director's credit. Edward Norton, master of creative interference. Norton is known for showing up on set ready to act and ready to rewrite the script, redirect the scene, re-edit the movie, and maybe even rearrange the lighting if you give him 5 minutes alone. Directors reportedly treated him like a walking tornado of, "Actually, I have a better idea." His most legendary clash came with Marvel during The Incredible Hulk 2008. Norton dove so deep into creative involvement that he rewrote major chunks of the script. Marvel naturally said, "Oh, no thanks." When his moody character-driven cut didn't match their blockbuster vision, tensions exploded like the Hulk. By the time the dust settled, Marvel had quietly swapped Norton for Mark Ruffalo, who showed up smiling, cooperative, and notably not rewriting the script between takes. Translation: the studio had officially reached their "we're done here" limit. Norton's brilliance is undeniable, but according to Hollywood lore, working with him means bracing yourself for unsolicited rewrites, creative debates, and the constant fear he might lock himself in the editing room. Number 13. Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe is the kind of actor who commands the screen, Gladiator, A Beautiful Mind, pure cinematic fire. But off-screen, his temper has its own filmography. If Russell's career were a movie, the genre would be explosive drama, co-starring hotel phones, unlucky bystanders, and directors tiptoeing like they're on a minefield. One of his most infamous moments came in 2005 when he hurled a phone at a hotel employee in New York, because the phone service wasn't working. That's right. While most of us jiggle the cord or hit redial, Russell Crowe goes full ancient Roman and launches a projectile. And this wasn't a fluke. Throughout his career, Crowe has been involved in various shouting matches, fistfights, and feuds. He once called George Clooney a sellout and a Frank Sinatra wannabe, proving Russell doesn't just hit people, he hits with words too. On movie sets, working with him has been described as walking on eggshells, except the eggshells are on fire, and the fire is also angry. Stories from Gladiator include him calling a producer at 3 a.m. threatening to kill him, method acting. No just Monday for Crowe. Number 14. Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey, the queen of talk, billionaire mogul, champion of empathy, and according to some critics, the plot twist nobody saw coming. For decades, she built an empire on compassion, connection, and handing out free cars like Halloween candy. But lately, the internet has been giving her some serious side-eye. The biggest backlash came after the Maui wildfire fundraiser, where Oprah, worth billions with a B, asked the public to donate. Many people said, "Hold on, shouldn't you be the one passing the hat?" The fact that she owns property in Maui only made the whole situation look extra suspicious, like a billionaire version of, "Hey guys, can someone cover my lunch?" Even Aquaman himself, Jason Momoa, hinted at scammers circling the tragedy, and the internet immediately wondered if he was talking about, well, Oprah. Then there's the criticism of her old show, which sometimes gave a platform to debunked or dangerous ideas like the whole vaccines cause autism nonsense. Not exactly the warm, wholesome Oprah brand we grew up with. Fans also shared stories of meeting her and being stunned at how cold or dismissive she allegedly was between takes. One audience member said attending her show shattered their image of her. A cameraman even claimed Oprah can fool most people, which is basically the Hollywood version of, "She's not who you think she is." Number 15. Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf is the definition of a Hollywood roller coaster, talented, unpredictable, occasionally brilliant, and frequently yikes. Just when it seems like he's gearing up for a big comeback, the universe hands him a brand new scandal like a party favor. In 2019, he was riding high again, thanks to indie films and a heartfelt personal project. Then came Don't Worry, Darling. At first, Shia said he left due to scheduling conflicts, but later it looked a lot more like he got booted for being, how do we put this politely, a nightmare to work with. Director Olivia Wilde hinted she wanted a respectful set, implying Shia brought the opposite of that energy. Then the real bomb dropped in 2020. Singer FKA Twigs accused him of battery emotional abuse and a pattern of disturbing behavior. Hollywood collectively performed a slow, horrified blink. Wilde and many actresses openly supported Twigs, and Shia's redemption arc crashed harder than a stunt car in Transformers. But Shia's behind-the-scenes chaos had been brewing long before. During the filming of Lawless, he took method acting to a level no acting teacher would ever endorse, drinking moonshine non-stop to achieve a permanently drunk, bloated look. His performance was so intense, translation terrifying, that co-star Mia Wasikowska nearly quit the movie. Shia later admitted he was pretty aggressive with his methods, which is one way to describe making your co-workers fear for their safety. Number 16. Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga might look like the ultimate pop superhero, meat dresses, powerhouse vocals, Grammys for days, but according to one former employee, life behind the glitter was less born this way and more trapped this way. Her ex-personal assistant, Jennifer O'Neill, famously sued her, claiming Gaga treated her less like staff and more like a sleepover buddy who forgot the concept of personal space. O'Neill said she had to sleep in Gaga's bed, stay on call 24/7, and basically serve as a human alarm clock with no overtime pay. Imagine being woken up at 3 a.m. because the mother monster needs her TV remote. The lawsuit painted a picture of Gaga as demanding boundary blurring and blissfully unaware that her employees were in fact humans. According to O'Neal, working for Gaga wasn't a job, it was an endurance sport. And the public shocked. This was the same woman famous for preaching acceptance and empowerment. Meanwhile, her assistant claimed she couldn't even empower herself to take a nap. Fans wondered, was Gaga a creative genius or a pop diva who needed a personal assistant for her personal assistant? Either way, Lady Gaga proved that behind the stage lights and the couture costumes, even superstars can have a not-so-super management style. Number 17. Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence burst into Hollywood like a breath of fresh, goofy air, relatable, clumsy, the queen of "I'm just like you" energy. But as her fame skyrocketed, some people started wondering if the whole funny girl next door persona came with, let's say, bonus features. Her award show antics were adored at first, like her iconic Oscars fall that made the world go, "Oh." But after the fifth or sixth stumble, critics began whispering, "Wait, is she doing this on purpose?" Suddenly, J-Law went from lovable dork to alleged attention magnet. Then came the interviews. Jennifer's humor, normally charming, occasionally veered into "did she really say that" territory. Some fans called her bluntness refreshing. Others called it rude, dismissive, or just plain insensitive. But the moment that really got her in hot water, her Hawaii incident. While filming The Hunger Games, she proudly revealed she had scratched her butt on sacred Hawaiian rocks. Yes, sacred as if it were a cute behind-the-scenes anecdote. Locals were not amused. The internet was definitely not amused. J-Law, accidentally or not, became the face of celebrity cultural disrespect. Even her comments about finding Hollywood boring or not taking acting seriously rubbed people the wrong way. Must be nice, audiences muttered to be bored while making millions. Number 18. Christina Aguilera. Christina Aguilera has one of the most powerful voices in pop, and according to some people, one of the most powerful diva attitudes in Hollywood. While fans see the glam, the pipes, and the iconic dirty energy, insiders sometimes see something closer to "do not approach" without emotional armor. For years, Christina has been rumored to be demanding, distant, and about as approachable as a locked VIP lounge. Colleagues have shared stories of her sweeping into sets like a storm cloud in heels, aloof, icy, and expecting everyone to keep up or get out of the way. But her most infamous moment didn't happen on stage, it happened at Disneyland. Yes, the happiest place on earth. According to witnesses, ex-Tina wanted a picture with an off-duty Mickey Mouse. The performer said no, and Christina allegedly snapped, calling Mickey a not-so-family-friendly name and whipping out the classic celebrity line, "Do you know who I am?" Nothing like cussing out a giant cartoon mouse to remind everyone you're a superstar. Even on The Voice, she wasn't shy about showing her frustrations when contestants didn't obediently follow her critiques. Let's just say subtlety was not her chosen instrument. Number 19. Lea Michele. Lea Michele rose to fame on Glee as the powerhouse voice and star of the show, but behind the scenes, her reputation was a lot less Broadway sparkle and a lot more backstage meltdown. As her popularity soared, so did the whispers that working with Lea wasn't exactly a musical delight. The drama hit center stage when Glee cast member Samantha Ware publicly accused Lea of making her life a living hell. And she didn't mean it metaphorically. Ware listed incidents of Lea making derogatory remarks, humiliating her in front of others, and creating an atmosphere so tense you could cut it with a microphone stand. Once Ware spoke up, the dam broke. More actors chimed in with their own stories, Lea being entitled, Lea being unapproachable, Lea using her star status like it was a VIP pass to be rude. Suddenly, Hollywood was like, "Oh yeah, we've been meaning to talk about this." Even young actress Hailee Steinfeld shared a moment. From before she was famous, she asked Lea for an autograph at the Paramount lot, and Lea straight up ignored her. Nothing says, "Welcome to Hollywood, kid," like getting snubbed by someone who sings inspirational anthems on TV. Despite her talent, Lea's off-screen reputation that became a tangled mess of diva behavior, bruised egos, and co-stars who needed emotional earplugs. Number 20. Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin, yes, that Charlie Chaplin, the silent film genius, the man who practically invented modern comedy, the icon with the tiny mustache and giant legacy. But behind the lovable tramp character was a personal life messy enough to make Hollywood gasp even by today's standards. While audiences adored his on-screen charm off-screen, Chaplin's reputation took a much darker turn. His biggest controversy, his relationships specifically with women who were far younger than him. We're not talking a few years apart. We're talking barely out of their teens young. Hollywood eventually began treating each new Chaplin romance like a breaking scandal. Who's the new 17-year-old? And the drama didn't end there. Chaplin got tangled in multiple paternity suits, some of them extremely public, all of them embarrassing. At one point, he was dragged into a court battle so messy, it could have been its own soap opera. Accusations of manipulation, coercion, and emotional chaos followed him throughout his life like unwanted paparazzi. Wanted paparazzi. Wanted paparazzi. Wanted paparazzi. Think Hollywood stars are all sunshine smiles and red carpets. Think again. Behind the glam lies ego tantrums and behavior so nasty it could melt an Oscar. From diva meltdowns to jaw-dropping rudeness, these celebs didn't just have bad days, they built reputations. Buckle up because we're spilling the tea on Hollywood stars who prove fame doesn't buy class. Number 1. Bill Murray. Bill Murray built his career on being the charming, unpredictable fun guy, the kind of legend who shows up unannounced at parties and leaves everyone with a great story. But behind that lovable chaos is a much darker reputation that Hollywood insiders know all too well. On the set of Charlie's Angels, Murray reportedly turned the workplace into a pressure cooker, singling out actress Lucy Liu for relentless verbal attacks. What looked like playful banter on screen was off-camera anything but funny. Bill allegedly mocked Lucy's acting ability, questioned why she was even cast, and made comments so harsh they nearly led to a physical confrontation. Crew members described the environment as tense and uncomfortable, with Murray's mood swings setting the tone for the entire set. This wasn't an isolated incident either. Over the years, Bill Murray has been labeled difficult, intimidating, and downright mean by multiple collaborators. His grumpy genius persona might entertain audiences, but for those working beside him, it often felt less like comedy and more like emotional whiplash. In Bill's world, the joke always lands, just not on him. Number 2. Ellen DeGeneres. For years, Ellen DeGeneres made kindness her brand. "Be kind," she said every episode, every mug, every viral clip. But behind the cheerful dancing and daytime smiles, a very different story was brewing backstage. As former staff and guests began speaking out, Ellen's carefully polished image started cracking fast. What emerged wasn't warmth, but fear. Employees described a workplace where eye contact was forbidden, small mistakes were punished, and tension hung in the air like a bad punchline. Some claimed Ellen would single out one staff member a day to target with cold remarks or humiliating behavior. Others spoke of being reprimanded over chipped nail polish, bathroom usage, or even distributing fan mail without permission. Yes, kindness apparently came with a rulebook. Guests weren't spared either. Stories circulated of rude dismissals, awkward silences, and an overall vibe that screamed, "You're lucky to be here." Add accusations of discrimination and toxic management, and suddenly, the queen of positivity looked more like a dictator in sneakers. Ellen didn't just fall from grace, she tripped over her own slogan. Turns out being kind is easy when the cameras are rolling. Off-screen, not so much. Number 3, Rihanna. Rihanna may rule, the charts dominate fashion, and sell empowerment like hotcakes, but behind the billion-dollar brand and flawless red carpet glow lies a much sharper edge. To fans, she's carefree, funny, and relatable. To others, a walking warning label. Over the years, Rihanna has built a reputation for having absolutely zero patience and zero hesitation to show it. Phones have been slapped away, paparazzi have been screamed at, and personal space violations have been met with pure fury. In one infamous 2013 concert incident, a fan learned the hard way that reaching out could earn you a microphone to the head, literally. But the real shock came when Rihanna publicly roasted a 16-year-old fan on Twitter for recreating one of her red carpet looks. Instead of encouragement, the teen got dragged into an expectation versus reality comparison, seen by millions. Savage, absolutely. Necessary, not even close. While Rihanna preaches confidence and self-love, her actions have often told a different story, where fame doesn't just inflate egos, it sharpens claws. Love her music all you want, but when it comes to kindness, Rihanna has proven she doesn't always hit the high note. Number 4, Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller once looked like Hollywood's quirky golden child, mysterious, artistic, a little weird in a cool indie movie way. But then reality hit, and it hit hard. What fans thought was eccentric charm slowly revealed itself as something far more volatile. The illusion shattered when a video surfaced showing Ezra choking and throwing a woman to the ground in an Iceland bar. At first, people hoped it was a joke. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Witnesses claimed the situation started with overly excited fans, but Ezra's reaction went from zero to full-blown rage in seconds. No witty comeback, no dramatic exit, just raw aggression. Some blamed alcohol, others blamed ego. Either way, the result was the same shocked fans and a reputation that tanked overnight. This wasn't just a bad night or a misunderstood moment. It was a reminder that fame doesn't automatically come with emotional control. Ezra didn't just lose his temper, he lost the audience's trust. Once seen as a rising star, he quickly became a cautionary tale of what happens when fame meets unchecked anger. In Hollywood, being different can make you famous. Being dangerous, that makes headlines, and not the good kind. Number 5, Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez didn't just become famous, she became a brand. Flawless, powerful, untouchable. And apparently, she wants to keep it that way, literally. In Hollywood, J.Lo's diva reputation isn't gossip, it's practically industry folklore. According to multiple accounts, not everyone is allowed to speak to her, and those who are. No eye contact, please. This isn't a royal court, but it sure sounds like one. Her on-set behavior hasn't helped soften that image. During a Fiat commercial shoot, J.Lo reportedly refused to perform certain actions, forcing producers to hire a body double. Staff members have claimed she ignored construction workers remodeling her home, got a cleaning lady fired for daring to ask for an autograph, and even refuses to speak directly to flight crews, choosing instead to communicate through assistants like she's passing classified intel. The cherry on top. Despite demanding absolute loyalty and non-stop availability from her staff, reports suggest they're far from generously compensated. For someone who sings about love and empowerment, J.Lo's off-camera attitude paints a colder picture, one where status matters more than basic courtesy. She may still get the crowd dancing, but behind the scenes, Jennifer Lopez has made it clear access to her comes with rules, distance, and a whole lot of attitude. Number 6, Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal is often painted as the gentle giant, a larger-than-life NBA legend who donates millions, surprises strangers with gifts, and laughs his way through TV commercials. And to be fair, that side of Shaq is real. But there's another side people don't like talking about, the one that proves even giants can punch down. In 2014, Shaq sparked outrage after mocking a man named Jamel Binion, who suffers from a rare genetic condition that affects his facial features. Instead of scrolling past, Shaq reposted the image and imitated the man's appearance in a photo of his own, turning someone's lifelong struggle into a joke shared with nearly 10 million followers. The internet laughed, but the man being mocked didn't. A lawsuit followed demanding accountability for public humiliation. Shaq eventually apologized, but the damage was already done. For someone who champions generosity and community, the incident exposed a careless cruelty hiding behind humor. It was a reminder that influence amplifies everything, including mockery. Shaquille O'Neal may give back with one hand, but that moment showed how easily the other can take dignity away. Fame doesn't excuse insensitivity, especially when the whole world is watching. Number 7. Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey doesn't just consider herself a diva, she practically trademarked the word. With a voice that defined generations and a career that screams legend status, Mariah has long demanded special treatment. Unfortunately, according to those closest to her, that special often crossed into shocking. One of the most explosive allegations came from a former assistant who sued Mariah, claiming she was subjected to extreme humiliation, verbal abuse, and behavior so bizarre it sounded unreal. Among the accusations, being mocked for her body, called degrading names, and even allegedly being urinated on. Yes, that kind of diva. The assistant earned a reported $250,000 a year, but claimed no amount of money could justify being on call 24/7 while enduring constant disrespect. And this wasn't Mariah's only legal headache. Around the same time, she settled a lawsuit with her former manager over harassment, unpaid wages, and breach of contract. 2 lawsuits, same era, similar complaints, not exactly a coincidence. Mariah is known for gifting her staff luxury items and high salaries, but critics argue money isn't a substitute for basic human decency. Behind the glitter gowns and whistle notes lies a pattern of entitlement that's left many burned. Number 8. Charlize Theron. Charlize Theron doesn't exactly scream mean girl. She's elegant, Oscar-winning, and carries herself with the calm confidence of someone who seems above petty drama. But according to people who've crossed paths with her, that icy poise can turn downright frosty. The cracks showed in 2014 when fellow actress Tia Mowry publicly described an uncomfortable run-in at a SoulCycle class. A simple greeting was met not with a smile but an eye roll and a sharp dismissal, the kind that makes you instantly regret opening your mouth. That story opened the floodgates. Reports surfaced claiming Charlize often arrived at the studio in a bad mood and had no problem disrupting classes by demanding others move from spots they had already claimed. SoulCycle markets itself as a safe, positive space, yet Charlize allegedly treated it like her personal gym, where common courtesy didn't apply. On its own, one rude moment might be brushed off as a bad day, but repeated accounts painted a pattern: entitlement, impatience, and an "I'm above this" attitude that left a sour taste. Charlize may play powerful, compassionate characters on screen, but off-camera some say she's mastered a different role, the untouchable star who doesn't feel the need to be nice. Grace is effortless when it's expected, True class shows when no one's watching, and that's where Charlize Theron has raised a few eyebrows. Number 9. Mike Myers. Mike Myers made the world laugh with goofy accents, over-the-top characters, and endless catchphrases. But behind the Austin Powers charm is a reputation that's far less groovy. According to multiple accounts, working with Myers wasn't a comedy, it was a control test. Stories from sets paint him as demanding, micromanaging, and deeply unpleasant to be around. One of the most infamous tales claims Mike had an assistant whose sole job was to follow him around, feeding him chocolates from a container while he barked orders at everyone else. Even more jaw-dropping. He allegedly had an actor fired simply for making eye contact. Yes, looking at him was apparently a fireable offense. Offset, the stories don't improve. Myers reportedly demanded toys made in his character's likeness, then refused to pay for them or sign autographs for the company that produced them. People who've worked with him describe a narcissistic, controlling personality, someone who expected total obedience without offering basic respect in return. For a guy whose career was built on humor, Mike Myers seems to have missed the joke that matters most, treating people decently. And maybe that explains why Hollywood hasn't been shouting, "Yeah, baby," for him in a very long time. Number 10. Lea Michele. For years, Lea Michele was marketed as the hard-working perfectionist star of Glee, ambitious, talented, and totally committed to her craft. Then the curtain dropped. What followed was a flood of stories that painted a far less flattering picture, starting with a public accusation from former co-star Samantha Ware. According to Ware and others, Lea's behavior on set wasn't just difficult, it was cruel. Multiple cast and crew members described an environment where Lea ruled through intimidation. Reports accused her of making racist microaggressions, refusing to work with people who didn't know her full name, demanding reshoots over minor costume issues, and forcing others to apologize for her own bad behavior. One of the most shocking allegations even claimed she spat in a colleague's food, a detail that turned industry gossip into outright disgust. As more voices spoke up, a pattern emerged: entitlement, lack of empathy, and a belief that talent justified mistreatment. The bubbly Broadway girl image cracked fast, revealing someone who confused being the star with being untouchable. Lea Michele didn't just lose fans, she lost the benefit of the doubt. In Hollywood, ambition is respected. Bullying, not so much. Number 11. Ariana Grande. With her soft voice, ponytail perfection, and girl-next-door image, Ariana Grande has long been seen as pop music's sweetheart. But behind the whispery vocals and pastel aesthetics, insiders tell a very different story. According to people who've worked with her, Ariana can be exhausting, demanding, and shockingly difficult, so much so that even her own life coach reportedly quit. That's not exactly a glowing Yelp review. Ariana has been accused of controlling nearly everything around her, from lighting angles to where people are allowed to stand near her. Former collaborators haven't stayed quiet either. Jeanette McCurdy labeled her a drama queen, while Victoria Justice hinted at on-set bullying. And let's not forget the infamous donut-licking scandal, which painted Ariana less as adorable and more as wildly entitled. Then there's her personal life, which has fueled accusations of using relationships to boost her career, and overlapping romances that left plenty of raised eyebrows. While Ariana sings about healing and self-love, many behind the scenes describe someone who thrives on control and chaos. She may hit impossible high notes, but when it comes to professionalism and humility, Ariana Grande has proven she sometimes falls flat. Sweet image, sharp edges, Hollywood's favorite contrast. Number 12. Cameron Diaz. Cameron Diaz built her career on being the ultimate cool girl, fun, funny, effortlessly charming. But when it comes to fan interactions, that laid-back image tends to disappear fast. Over the years, Cameron has gained a reputation for being surprisingly harsh with people who approach her for photos or autographs. Instead of a polite no, fans often describe getting a full-on lecture instead. Cameron has been known to scold fans in a distinctly parental tone, explaining that signing autographs would force her to sign for everyone everywhere forever, like a cursed fairy tale of Sharpies and selfies. While her logic isn't entirely wrong, critics argue her delivery is where things go south. What could be a quick, respectful refusal often turns into a moment that leaves fans embarrassed and deflated. To many, it feels less like setting boundaries and more like flexing power. Celebrities are allowed privacy, but there's a difference between protecting space and talking down to the people who helped make you famous. Cameron's bluntness has earned her a reputation for being cold, dismissive, and unnecessarily condescending. She may have mastered comedy on screen, but in real life, Cameron Diaz has proven that charm isn't automatic, especially when the cameras aren't rolling. Number 13. Lucille Ball. Lucille Ball is remembered as a comedy pioneer, a trailblazer who broke barriers, shattered ratings records, and made America laugh for decades. On screen, she was all charm, chaos, and heart. Off-screen, not everyone was laughing. Behind the legendary status, Lucille quietly earned a reputation for being cold, dismissive, and difficult toward people she viewed as beneath her. Fans and colleagues from her era have shared stories of uncomfortable encounters, describing Lucille as sharp-tongued and impatient. Some studios were reportedly hesitant to invite her as a guest, fearing tension or unpleasant interactions with staff and other performers. Flight attendants in particular weren't fans. Lucille allegedly refused to speak to them directly, insisting all communication go through her assistant, even for basic requests. Those who worked behind the scenes claimed she avoided interacting with crew members altogether, drawing a clear line between star and everyone else. Respect, it seemed, wasn't automatic. It had to be earned, and most people never qualified. Lucille Ball may have rewritten the rules for women in comedy, but kindness wasn't always part of the script. Her legacy remains iconic, but for those who met her off-camera, the memory wasn't always a happy one. Even legends, it turns out, can leave bruises where the laugh track fades. Number 14. Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld made a fortune turning everyday annoyances into comedy gold. The problem off-stage, many people say he is the annoyance. While Jerry rarely explodes or screams, his brand of mean is quieter, sharp, dismissive, and wrapped in, it's just a joke. Over the years, fans and critics alike have accused him of using humor as a shield for punching down. On Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, Jerry raised eyebrows with jokes about Harvey Weinstein, the #MeToo movement, and sexual assault comments many felt crossed from edgy into tone-deaf. When backlash followed, Jerry didn't apologize. Instead, he doubled down, suggesting audiences were too sensitive to understand comedy. That response became a pattern. Jerry has also openly expressed his disdain for young people, refusing to perform at colleges and claiming students today are fragile and easily offended. To him, the problem isn't the joke, it's the listener. Former associates have described him as aloof, dismissive, and uninterested in perspectives outside his own bubble. Jerry Seinfeld doesn't yell insult or throw tantrums. He simply talks at people, not to them, armed with fame, money, and the confidence that he's always the smartest person in the room. He built a career observing human behavior, but when it comes to empathy, Jerry seems to have skipped the lesson. Number 15. Reese Witherspoon. Reese Witherspoon is often seen as America's sweetheart, polished, charming, and effortlessly likable. But that wholesome image took a serious hit in 2013 when real life decided to roll the cameras. During a traffic stop, Reese's husband was arrested for DUI, And instead of staying calm, Reese unleashed one of Hollywood's most infamous lines, "Do you know who I am?" Spoiler. The police did not care. The incident ended with Reese herself being arrested for disorderly conduct, and the footage spread faster than any rom-com trailer. But that wasn't the only eyebrow raiser. Former employees and insiders have quietly described Reese as intimidating behind the scenes. Sunglasses on walls up, no eye contact. Not exactly the warm Southern charm she's known for on screen. Some staffers reportedly feared upsetting her, suggesting a tense environment where one wrong move could trigger an icy response. Was it just a bad night and a bruised ego? Maybe. But when stories keep popping up about diva behavior and power plays, patterns start to form. Reese may excel at playing strong, relatable women, but off-camera she's shown flashes of entitlement that clash hard with her carefully curated image. Hollywood loves a sweet persona, but it loves catching the mask slip even more. Number 16. Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth Paltrow has never tried to be relatable, and that might be the most honest thing about her. To fans, she's an Oscar winner turned wellness guru. To critics, she's Hollywood privilege wrapped in beige linen. Gwyneth's reputation isn't built on screaming fits or public meltdowns, but on something arguably worse: quiet, unapologetic entitlement. As the face of Goop, she regularly promotes products that cost more than most people's rent, while speaking as if they're everyday essentials. Critics accuse her of being wildly out of touch, flaunting luxury under the banner of self-care. And it doesn't stop there. Gwyneth has reportedly complained about Michelin star restaurants demanded someone clean and dry a gym shower before she used it because she couldn't touch someone else's water, and generally moved through the world like rules are optional for her. Coming from old Hollywood, wealth humility was never really part of the brand. She frequently praises her own discipline, fitness, and lifestyle choices, often implying moral superiority disguised as wellness advice. The result: a personality many find exhausting, condescending, and painfully tone-deaf. Number 17. Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire will forever be remembered as the awkward, lovable Peter Parker, the guy who taught us that with great power comes great responsibility. Unfortunately, off-screen, Tobey seemed to miss that memo entirely. After the massive success of Spider-Man, insiders say fame didn't just change him, it inflated him. The once humble actor reportedly developed a serious attitude problem that rubbed almost everyone the wrong way. One of the most infamous stories comes from Hollywood poker nights, where Tobey allegedly crossed the line from competitive to cruel. Witnesses claim he harassed players, mocked them openly, and even dared a woman to bark like a seal for $1,000 a moment that felt less like a joke and more like a power trip. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, not so friendly. On set, things weren't much smoother. During Spider-Man 3, Tobey's back issues led to expensive accommodations, including doctors on standby and constant production delays. While injuries aren't his fault, colleagues say his attitude during this time made an already tense set even worse. Complaints of entitlement and impatience followed him long after the suit came off. Number 18. Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan looks like the definition of smooth, tailored suits, silver hair, eternal. James Bond energy, the kind of man you'd expect to politely hold the door and flash a charming smile. But according to at least one very public account, that smoothness can vanish the moment convenience kicks in. In 2017, the Late Late Show host, James Corden, shared a story that quietly dented Pierce's gentleman image. While attending a U2 concert with his wife, James noticed an empty spot near the stage and moved in. Mid-show, an arm suddenly shoved him aside. No excuse me, no eye contact, no acknowledgement. That arm belonged to Pierce Brosnan, returning to his space and treating James like invisible furniture. Was it violent? No. Was it illegal? Also no. But was it rude, entitled, and completely unnecessary? Absolutely. A simple tap on the shoulder would have done the job. Instead, Pierce chose silent force, the kind of move that screams, "Do you know who I am?" without saying a word. It's often the small moments that reveal the most. Pierce Brosnan may have mastered the art of playing a classy spy, but off-screen, that Bond-level courtesy apparently isn't always activated. Sometimes the license to charm expires when no one's watching. Number 19. Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase made millions playing the lovable jerk, sarcastic smug, and just rude enough to be funny. The problem. According to countless stories, that wasn't an act. Off-camera, Chevy's reputation as one of Hollywood's biggest bullies has followed him for decades. Former colleagues, writers, interns, and even fellow comedy legends have openly described working with him as miserable. On Saturday Night Live, his behavior was so notorious, it made it into the book Live from New York, detailing how Chevy routinely belittled staff, insulted writers, and treated interns like disposable props. Will Ferrell has publicly criticized Chevy for his disrespect toward female staff members, while Bill Murray reportedly clashed with him so badly, it nearly turned physical. When comedians dislike you, that's saying something. Fans haven't been spared either. Chevy has allegedly used homophobic slurs at restaurant staff, slapped a fan backstage at a theater, and lashed out whenever things didn't go his way. There's a clear pattern: entitlement mixed with cruelty, justified by fame, and a refusal to evolve. Chevy Chase built a career mocking others, but when the joke stops being funny and starts being personal, the audience notices. In a business built on collaboration, Chevy didn't just burn bridges, he gleefully lit the match. Number 20. Vanessa Hudgens. Vanessa Hudgens grew up in the Disney spotlight, singing, smiling, and selling a squeaky clean image to millions of teens. But as the years passed, that polished persona reportedly cracked, revealing a much less charming side. Multiple accounts paint Vanessa as someone who lets jealousy and insecurity take the wheel and runs right over anyone in the way. One particularly uncomfortable story involves a young fan who nervously approached Zac Efron while shopping with Vanessa. Instead of showing empathy, Vanessa allegedly mocked the girl, laughing at her anxiety and humiliating her in front of other shoppers. What could have been a harmless fan moment turned into a public embarrassment, not exactly a Disney-approved reaction. And it didn't stop there. Vanessa has long been rumored to find fans annoying rather than flattering, often responding with visible irritation. She's also been accused of bullying fellow Disney alum Selena Gomez, adding fuel to the idea that competition brought out her worst instincts. Vanessa Hudgens may have outgrown her Disney days, but critics say she never quite outgrew the mean girl energy. Fame can be a tough transition, and for Vanessa, it seems kindness didn't make the cut. Cute on-screen cutting in real life, she's a reminder that not all childhood stars grow into gracious adults. Fame is fragile. One tweet, one slap, one leaked DM, and boom, your Hollywood throne turns into a folding chair. These stars once ruled red carpets, award shows, and box offices until the internet decided it was time to press cancel. From shocking scandals to jaw-dropping meltdowns, today, we're counting down celebrities who went from untouchable icons to public enemy number one. Some survived, some disappeared, and some might never come back. Buckle up, this gets messy. Number 1. James Corden. On TV, James Corden was America's favorite nice guy. Loud laugh, big smile, lovable energy. The kind of host who sang karaoke with celebrities in traffic and made it feel wholesome. The Late Late Show turned him into an overnight US star, and Hollywood happily bought the image. Musicals, movies, award shows. James was everywhere and always smiling, but apparently only when the cameras were rolling. Behind the scenes, a very different James Corden started making headlines, and not the fun kind. In 2022, the internet exploded when legendary New York restaurateur Keith McNally publicly banned James from his restaurant Balthazar. The reason: extremely rude behavior towards staff, and once that door opened, the stories poured out like spilled wine. According to multiple accounts, James allegedly berated servers, demanded free drinks after finding a hair in his food, threatened bad reviews, and in one story exploded over an egg white omelet that wasn't egg white enough. One incident even involved a knife because nothing says friendly talk show host like cutlery drama. Suddenly, America realized the guy who made celebrities sing in cars might be a nightmare to waiters on the ground. James quickly went into damage control mode. He apologized publicly, addressed the incidents on his own show, and even smoothed things over with McNally, who eventually lifted the ban. Crisis averted, sort of. Because while the restaurant forgave him, the internet didn't forget. The warm, approachable persona cracked. And once people suspect your kindness is an act, the spell is broken. Soon after, James announced he'd be stepping down from The Late Late Show in 2023. Officially, it was a career move. Unofficially, the timing raised eyebrows. James Corden didn't get canceled for a crime, he got canceled for being mean. And in an era where treat people well is the bare minimum, that might be the hardest comeback of all. Number 2. Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf was never Hollywood's golden boy, he was the chaos artist. From Transformers superstar to indie darling, Shia built a reputation as the guy who was brilliant, unpredictable, and just unhinged enough to be interesting. He wasn't just acting in movies, he was the performance even off camera. Paper bags on his head screaming motivational speeches, performance art that confused everyone, classic Shia. But then things stopped being weird and started getting dark. In late 2020, singer and actress FKA Twigs, Shia's former partner, dropped a lawsuit that hit like a brick. She accused Shia of battery, emotional abuse, and relentless manipulation. According to her, the relationship wasn't passionate or artistic, it was terrifying. One story described Shia allegedly threatening to crash a car if she didn't say she loved him. Another alleged he choked her in her sleep. Suddenly, the edgy bad boy image wasn't edgy anymore. It was alarming. The internet did what it always does: screenshots, headlines, outrage, and instant cancellation. Hollywood backed away fast. Projects vanished. Invitations disappeared. Even longtime collaborators went silent. Shia responded with a rare moment of clarity. He apologized. He admitted to a history of abuse and claimed he was ashamed of who he had been. He blamed mental health struggles, addiction, and a lack of control, not as excuses, but explanations. For once, Shia wasn't performing. He sounded human. Then came the plot twist no one saw coming: religion. In 2022, Shia revealed he had converted to Catholicism. Yes, the same guy who once yelled, "Just do it," into a camera, was now talking about faith, repentance, and spiritual rebirth. But here's the thing about Hollywood: redemption arcs are hard to sell, especially when the wounds are still fresh. Shia LaBeouf isn't canceled because people forgot his talent. He's canceled because people remember his behavior. And while he says he's changed the world, is still deciding whether this is growth or just another act. Number 3, Justin Timberlake. Once upon a time, Justin Timberlake could do no wrong. He had the looks, the voice, the dance moves, basically a human cheat code. From boy band heartthrob in NSYNC to solo pop superstar, Justin wasn't just riding the wave, he was the wave. Millions of records sold, chart-topping hits, blockbuster movies, even a Super Bowl halftime show. What could possibly go wrong? Well, 2004 happened. What should have been a career-defining Super Bowl performance turned into one of the most infamous moments in live TV history. A split-second wardrobe malfunction shocked America, broke the internet before the internet was even a thing, and somehow Justin walked away mostly untouched. His career still shining, his reputation intact. Someone else took the fall. Fast forward nearly 2 decades, enter 2021. And suddenly, the past isn't done with Justin. The documentary Framing Britney Spears reopened old wounds, and this time the spotlight wasn't flattering. An old interview resurfaced where Justin casually revealed intimate details about his breakup with Britney Spears. Back then, it boosted his image. Now, it made him look like the villain in someone else's tragedy. Social media didn't forget. And it definitely didn't forgive, at least not right away. Fans accused Justin of benefiting from Britney's downfall while staying silent for years. The Golden Boy was officially canceled. To his credit, Justin finally apologized, publicly, humbly, and surprisingly, people listened. While the internet sharpened its pitchforks, his music career refused to die. The charts still loved him. The fans mostly came back. Justin Timberlake's story isn't about falling from grace. It's about barely dodging the cliff, learning the hard way, and discovering that even pop royalty isn't immune when history comes back for receipts. Number 4. James Franco. For a while, James Franco was Hollywood's ultimate overachiever. Actor, director, writer, professor, the guy collected job titles like Pokemon cards. From Rise of the Planet of the Apes to Spring Breakers to his award-winning turn in The Disaster Artist. Franco wasn't just successful, he was everywhere. Critics loved him, studios trusted him, and Seth Rogen practically treated him like a creative soulmate. Then one tweet hit the internet, and the entire house of cards collapsed. In 2014, a bombshell allegation surfaced from a 17-year-old girl who claimed James Franco tried to arrange a hotel meetup with her. Screenshots leaked. Messages went viral. And unfortunately for James, there was no "that wasn't me" defense. The photos he sent made it very clear who was behind the screen. Yes, technically the age of consent in New York was 17, but socially, morally, the internet wasn't interested in legal footnotes. To the public, it felt creepy, exploitative, and painfully tone-deaf. James admitted the messages were real, apologized on Twitter, and instantly learned that apologies don't stop screenshots. Things only got worse. More women came forward with accusations of inappropriate behavior, including former students who claimed exploitation in his acting classes. By 2021, Franco was hit with a lawsuit that cost him over $2 million and whatever was left of his spotless image. Hollywood quietly stepped away. Roles disappeared. Invitations stopped coming. James claimed he entered therapy for addiction, but in an industry allergic to bad press, rehabilitation doesn't guarantee forgiveness. James Franco didn't just get canceled, he vanished. A cautionary tale of what happens when talent, ego, and terrible judgment collide, and Twitter is watching. Number 5. Ellen DeGeneres. For years, Ellen DeGeneres wasn't just a talk show host, she was a brand. Be kind wasn't a slogan, it was basically her religion. She danced onto daytime TV, made celebrities uncomfortable in the most adorable way possible, and built a daytime empire worth hundreds of millions. Ellen wasn't just popular, she was untouchable, until people behind the scenes started talking. In 2020, the curtain dropped hard. Former employees began coming forward, and suddenly the happiest place on daytime television sounded less like Disneyland and more like a corporate horror story. Accusations flew fast, toxic work, environment, intimidation, racism ignored. Harassment complaints, even employees being punished for taking medical or family leave. Turns out the vibe backstage didn't exactly scream, "Be kind." At first, Ellen denied everything. Then social media did what social media does best, turned whispers into a full-blown cancellation avalanche. Twitter sharpened its knives, headlines piled up, and the internet collectively asked the same question. Wait. Ellen is the villain. Under mounting pressure, Ellen issued a public apology and launched an internal investigation with a third-party firm. In a letter to staff, she admitted something had gone wrong, saying the show she promised as a place of joy and respect had failed to live up to that image. It was humble. It was polished. It was a little too late. Because once the nice mask cracks, you can't glue it back together on daytime TV. By 2022, the damage was done. The Ellen DeGeneres Show announced its final season, ending a run that once defined American daytime television. The woman who made kindness cool exited quietly, without a dance, without applause, just a reminder that in Hollywood, image is everything and hypocrisy is unforgivable. Ellen didn't just lose a show, she lost the illusion. And in cancel culture, that's often the real crime. Number 6, Kevin Spacey. At his peak, Kevin Spacey wasn't just an actor, he was a master manipulator of prestige. 2 Oscars, countless awards, and then House of Cards, a show so powerful it turned Netflix into a serious player overnight. As Frank Underwood, Spacey didn't just break the fourth wall, he owned it. Hollywood bowed, critics applauded. Kevin Spacey was untouchable, until 2017 pulled the plug. That year, actor Anthony Rapp accused Spacey of making inappropriate advances toward him at a party back in the 1980s when Rapp was just 14 years old. Spacey responded with a statement that confused almost everyone. He said he didn't remember the incident, apologized if it happened, and then came out as gay. The internet collectively blinked and said, "That's not how apologies work." And then the floodgates opened. More allegations surfaced. Actors, crew members, anonymous sources' stories piled up fast, including claims from people who worked on House of Cards. Netflix didn't wait. Spacey was fired. His scenes were erased. Projects vanished. Hollywood's golden villain became its real-life pariah overnight. Most people assumed that was the end. But Kevin Spacey didn't disappear quietly. Instead, he uploaded a chilling YouTube video titled, "Let Me Be Frank," speaking in character as Frank Underwood. A year later, another cryptic holiday message followed. Creepy, absolutely. Strategic. Also, yes, the man who played power games for a living wasn't done playing. Legally, things became complicated. In recent years, Spacey won a major court case when Anthony Rapp's civil lawsuit was dismissed. Other charges were dropped or remain unresolved. In the courtroom, he survived. In the court of public opinion. Not so much. Kevin Spacey is still acting mostly overseas, mostly quietly. Hollywood hasn't rolled out the red carpet again, and audiences aren't exactly asking for it. Kevin Spacey wasn't canceled because people forgot his talent. He was canceled because no amount of talent can outshine allegations this heavy. In the end, the man who taught America how power works learned the hard way: once trust is gone, there's no monologue strong enough to win it back. Number 7, Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart built his career on saying whatever popped into his head loudly, confidently, and usually at full sprint. From stand-up stages to blockbuster comedies, Kevin became one of the most successful comedians on the planet. Short guy, big energy, zero filter. His comedy albums sold out. His movies crushed the box office, and his laugh alone was basically a trademark. So when Kevin Hart was announced as the host of the 2019 Oscars, it felt like a victory lap. Then the internet did what it does best, it went digging. Old tweets resurfaced, years-old jokes that included homophobic language. At the time they were written, Kevin brushed them off as edgy humor. In 2019, different rules, different audience, zero patience. Overnight, the jokes that once got laughs turned into headlines. The Academy asked for an apology. The internet asked for blood. Kevin stepped down from hosting the Oscars and issued an apology saying he'd grown learned and wouldn't make those jokes today. But here's where things got interesting instead of disappearing quietly. Kevin pushed back. Hard. In interviews, especially with Rolling Stone, Kevin criticized cancel culture itself. He argued that society was obsessed with tearing people down over old mistakes, turning non-issues into career-ending moments. To Kevin, this wasn't accountability, it was performative outrage. And unlike many canceled celebrities, Kevin didn't vanish. His career barely slowed. Movies kept coming. Stand-up specials kept selling. He doubled down, leaned into the controversy, and came out the other side louder than ever. Love him or hate him, Kevin Hart refused to play the role of the defeated celebrity. In the world of cancel culture, that might be the boldest move of all, survive by not backing down and keep laughing while doing it. Number 9, Johnny Depp. For years, Johnny Depp wasn't just a movie star, he was a walking genre. Pirates, outcasts, weird geniuses, lovable lunatics. Depp turned odd into iconic. By the 2010s, he was one of the biggest stars on the planet, earning tens of millions per film and living the kind of rock star Hollywood fantasy most actors only dream about. Then came one article, and everything burned. In 2018, Depp's ex-wife Amber Heard published an op-ed implying she was a victim of domestic abuse. She never named Johnny, but the internet connected the dots in about half a second. Headlines screamed, studios panicked. And just like that, Johnny Depp went from Captain Jack Sparrow to problematic liability. Disney dropped him. Projects vanished. His reputation imploded before he even spoke. Johnny claimed the accusations were false, that he was the one being abused. Instead of quietly settling, he did something rare in cancel culture. He fought back. Loudly. Publicly. In court. The defamation trial between Depp and Heard became global entertainment in 2022. Live streams, memes, TikToks, legal analysis from people who had never seen a courtroom before. Johnny showed up calm, sarcastic, occasionally amused, while the internet picked sides like it was the Super Bowl. And then came the verdict. The jury ruled largely in Johnny Depp's favor, declaring that Amber Heard had defamed him and cost him millions in lost roles. Depp's reaction, simple. The jury gave me my life back. Hollywood blinked. The internet erupted. Captain Jack survived. But here's the twist: winning court doesn't automatically win back Hollywood. Studios remain cautious. Some doors reopened. Others stayed locked. The damage, while reversed, legally still lingers culturally. Johnny Depp wasn't canceled because he was convicted. He was canceled because the accusation alone was enough. His story became the ultimate cancel culture paradox: what happens when the internet gets it wrong but never fully admits it? Johnny may have won the trial, but his real battle is convincing the world that redemption isn't just a headline. Number 9. Armie Hammer. Armie Hammer looked like he was built in a Hollywood laboratory. Tall, handsome, rich family, Ivy League energy, the kind of guy casting directors trust immediately. After The Social Network, it felt like Armie was next in line for A-list superstardom. Leading man roles, prestige films, red carpets. The future looked expensive. Then Instagram happened. In early 2021, anonymous screenshots began flooding social media, and they were unsettling. Messages allegedly sent by Armie to multiple women described violent fantasies involving control abuse and, yes, cannibalism. Not metaphorical, not poetic. Actual I want to, parts of you energy. The internet froze, blinked twice, and collectively said, "Wait, what?" Armie denied everything. At first calling the messages fake. Unfortunately, the damage didn't stop there. In March 2021, a woman came forward accusing him of assaulting her in 2017. Suddenly, this wasn't just weird DMs, it was a criminal investigation. The LAPD stepped in studios, stepped out, and Hollywood ran faster than it ever had. Projects vanished overnight. Movie deals evaporated. His carefully polished image shattered into a million screenshots. Armie went from Hollywood heir to industry exile almost instantly. His reported net worth collapsed, his marriage fell apart, and a documentary dissected his private life like a true crime episode no one asked for. Here's the irony. Armie Hammer wasn't canceled for being rude or saying the wrong thing. He was canceled for making people genuinely uncomfortable. And in an industry built on illusion, nothing is more dangerous than being seen as a liability. As of now, Armie remains locked out of Hollywood, tangled in legal trouble, and far away from the spotlight that once loved him. No comeback tour, no apology arc, just silence. Armie Hammer didn't fall from grace, he disappeared into it. And this time, even the internet doesn't seem curious enough to want him back. Number 10. Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy Teigen was the internet's favorite celebrity best friend. Funny tweets, self-deprecating humor, cookbook success, political opinions, and a picture-perfect marriage to John Legend. Chrissy didn't just live online, she thrived there. She was relatable, outspoken, and proudly unfiltered. What could go wrong for someone who basically was social media? Turns out screenshots last forever. In 2021, the internet dug up something ugly from Chrissy's past, and it hit hard. Courtney Stodden, a model and singer, accused Chrissy of relentlessly bullying her back in 2011. Public tweets telling Courtney to take a dirt nap. Private messages allegedly saying, "I can't wait for you to die." And here's the part that made everyone freeze: Courtney was a minor at the time. Suddenly, the queen of online clapbacks was exposed as a cyberbully, and not in a bad joke way, but in a deeply disturbing one. The outrage was instant. Brands panicked. Partnerships disappeared. The same internet that once worshipped Chrissy now demanded accountability. Chrissy responded fast. She apologized publicly, calling her past self insecure, attention-seeking, and embarrassing. She admitted she was ashamed and promised to do better. Courtney accepted the apology, but questioned whether it was sincere or simply well-timed damage control. And that's the cruel irony of cancel culture. Even when you apologize, people don't just judge what you say, they judge when you say it. Since then, Chrissy's career has taken a serious hit. Projects vanished. Endorsements dried up. The timeline that once adored her now watches cautiously from a distance. Chrissy insists she's changed, celebrating sobriety and personal growth, hoping for redemption. But the internet doesn't forget who you were when you thought no one was watching. Number 11. Will Smith. For decades, Will Smith was Hollywood's safest bet. The Fresh Prince, the box office king, the guy parents trusted, studios loved, and audiences cheered for. From Men in Black to Bad Boys to I Am Legend, Will wasn't just famous, he was universally likable. If Hollywood had a no-drama setting, Will Smith was it. Then came one joke and one slap heard around the world. At the 2022 Oscars, a night literally meant to celebrate Will's career, comedian Chris Rock cracked a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head. The crowd laughed. Will laughed. And then Will didn't. Seconds later, he marched onto the stage and slapped Chris Rock across the face on live television. No CGI, no stunt double, just raw, unscripted chaos. The room froze. Twitter exploded. Memes were born in real time. Will returned to his seat and yelled, "Keep my wife's name out your mouth," instantly rewriting his image from family-friendly hero to headline-generating wildcard. Ironically, minutes later, he won his first ever Oscar, an achievement now permanently footnoted by a slap. The fallout was brutal. Will apologized publicly, then again online. Too late. The Academy banned him from the Oscars for 10 years. Studios quietly paused projects. Audiences saw him differently. The man who once symbolized calm control and charisma suddenly looked human and angry. What made it worse? This wasn't a scandal from the past. There were no old tweets, no leaked messages. It happened live in HD in front of millions. Will Smith didn't get canceled for something he said. He got canceled for something everyone saw. And in the age of viral moments, nothing sticks harder than video. Today, Will remains a Hollywood icon, but the invincible image is gone. The Fresh Prince grew up and learned the hard way that even legends aren't allowed to lose control on the biggest stage in the world. Number 12, Kanye West. Once upon a time, Kanye West wasn't just a rapper, he was a cultural event. Musical genius, fashion disruptor, trendsetter, billionaire Kanye didn't follow the culture. He was the culture. Every album felt like a revolution, every interview felt like a headline waiting to happen. People didn't just listen to Kanye, they argued about him, and that was part of the magic. Until the chaos stopped being entertaining. Over the years, Kanye's behavior became increasingly unpredictable, interrupting award shows, public meltdowns, feuds with fellow celebrities, and a very loud, very public spiral after his divorce from Kim Kardashian. Fans were concerned, critics were exhausted. But things crossed the point of no return in 2022. That's when Kanye went fully nuclear. A series of anti-Semitic comments, shocking interviews, and social media posts lit the internet on fire. Brands didn't hesitate. Adidas cut ties. Balenciaga walked away. Gap vanished. Within weeks, Kanye went from billionaire to financial freefall. The same industry that once worshipped his genius suddenly wanted nothing to do with him. Kanye, of course, didn't apologize, he doubled down. Interviews got stranger, statements got darker. And the line between artistic provocation and genuine harm completely disappeared. What once felt like rebellious creativity now felt dangerous and deeply uncomfortable. The irony: Kanye had warned everyone for years that cancel culture was coming for him. And when it finally did, he practically walked into it with a megaphone. Today, Kanye West still has fans, still has influence, and still makes noise, but the invincible aura is gone. The industry no longer protects him. The excuses no longer work. Genius only buys you so much grace. Kanye West wasn't canceled for being misunderstood. He was canceled for refusing to stop when everyone begged him to. And in the age of consequences, even the loudest voice can be muted. Hollywood makes stars faster than it slaps them back down. One moment you're a legend, the next you're a meme your mama's embarrassed to share. From scandalous slips to career-ending explosions, these actors proved it takes only one bad move to go from red carpet royalty to "who hired this guy?" Buckle up, the falls are wild, the drama is real, and yes, you're allowed to laugh. Number 1. Paula Deen. Paula Deen was once America's butter-coated sweetheart, the Southern cooking queen who could turn a stick of butter into a personality trait and somehow make the whole country crave biscuits at 7 a.m. Her laugh was warm, her recipes were indulgent, and her empire stretched from TV shows to cookbooks to restaurants that smelled like pure cholesterol and happiness. Then 2013 served her a scandal hotter than frying oil. It all started with a lawsuit from a former employee accusing Paula and her brother of running a workplace full of harassment, discrimination, and the kind of stories HR departments have nightmares about. But things went nuclear when Paula took the stand and admitted to using racist slurs and casually described planning a plantation-style wedding with black men dressed as servants. America collectively dropped its fork. The backlash was instant. The Food Network dropped her faster than a hot skillet. Walmart and Target pulled her products off shelves. Sponsors evaporated like steam off cornbread. One week, she was the face of Southern comfort. The next, she was the cautionary tale no PR team wanted to touch without oven mitts. But Paula is nothing if not persistent. She's spent the years since rebuilding her brand from the digital trenches, launching a YouTube channel, opening new family-style restaurants, and leaning on a loyal fan base that still believes in her butter gospel. Her reputation, though, never fully came out of the deep fryer. Some admire the comeback attempt, others see the scandal as unforgivable, leaving Paula Deen stuck in that weird celebrity limbo where you're famous, but mostly for the wrong reasons. In Hollywood terms, one minute you're serving comfort food, the next you're serving controversy extra crispy. Number 2. Megan Fox. Megan Fox once ruled Hollywood like the ultimate 2000s it girl, the kind of star who didn't just walk onto red carpets, she detonated them. After Transformers hit in 2007, she became an overnight sensation magazine, covers blockbuster deals, and so many slow-motion hair flips that fans practically got whiplash watching her rise. Then one interview blew up her career faster than a Michael Bay explosion. In 2009, Megan sat down with Wonderland and was asked what it was like working with director Michael Bay. She could have said something neutral, diplomatic, boring, but nope. Megan went full scorched earth and compared Bay to Napoleon and Hitler. Yes, Hitler. She added he was a nightmare, though she supposedly liked him for being socially awkward. Hollywood collectively said, "Girl, what?" Bay was reportedly ready to shrug it off, but Steven Spielberg, not so much. Under his direction, Megan was fired from Transformers: Dark of the Moon, and suddenly, the media treated her like Hollywood's public enemy number 1. Crew members accused her of being ungrateful, tabloids labeled her a diva, and studios stopped calling like she'd been erased from the industry's contact list. For years, Megan stepped back, taking smaller roles, focusing on motherhood, and watching the world rewrite her image without her permission. But by the late 2010s, she began resurfacing, calling out the misogyny and objectification that shaped her downfall. Turns out the difficult girl wasn't so difficult, she was just ahead of a conversation Hollywood wasn't ready for. Now Megan is back with a vengeance, starring in indie thrillers like Till Death and living loudly on her own terms. She's no longer the glossy poster girl of the 2000s. She's the comeback queen with sharp eyeliner, sharper opinions, and zero patience for old Hollywood nonsense. In short, Megan Fox didn't just reclaim her story, she rewrote the sequel. Number 3. Cuba Gooding Jr. Cuba Gooding Jr. once blasted his way to the top of Hollywood shouting, "Show me the money," and for a while Hollywood really did. Back in 1997, he lit up the Oscar stage like a firework, charming unstoppable, the guy everyone wanted in their movie. His energy was electric, his smile bulletproof, and audiences adored him. But Hollywood plot twists hit fast. In 2019, everything flipped when Cuba was accused of groping a woman at a New York bar. Then more women stepped forward, and suddenly he wasn't trending for heartwarming performances. He was trending for all the legal reasons no actor wants. Headlines turned brutal, accusations piled up, and the once beloved star found himself trapped in a scandal spiral no publicist on earth could spin out of. By 2022, he accepted a plea deal for forcible touching. No jail time, but counseling and behavioral monitoring. Basically, Hollywood putting him in the figure, your life out. Penalty box. His accusers called it unfair. Fans were stunned, and studios quietly slipped away like, yeah, we're good. Since then, Cuba has mostly vanished into tiny indie films, the cinematic equivalent of witness protection. The man who once burst with joy and charisma is now a cautionary tale whispered in Hollywood hallways. Show me the money. These days, Hollywood mostly shows him the door. Number 4. Will Smith. Will Smith used to be the guy everyone agreed on America's sweetheart, with a million-watt smile and a resume that could bench press a blockbuster. From Fresh Prince charm to Men in Black swagger, he was Hollywood's safest bet. You cast Will, the movie wins. Simple math. Then came the slap heard round the universe. At the 94th Oscars, everything was business as usual until Chris Rock cracked a joke about Jada's shaved head. Will laughed for about 3 seconds. Then he marched on stage like a man answering a side quest and slapped Chris Rock so hard the microphones almost filed a noise complaint. The audience froze. Twitter combusted, and Hollywood aged 40 years in 40 seconds. Will sat back down and shouted, "Keep my wife's name out your mouth," instantly becoming a meme that even your grandma saw before breakfast. Hours later, he won Best Actor and gave a tearful speech that mentioned everyone except Chris Rock. The Academy revealed he'd been asked to leave and didn't. Within days, Will resigned and then got hit with a 10-year Oscar ban, basically Hollywood grounding him until further notice. Projects were paused, jokes were endless, and Will suddenly went from leading man to man. What happened? In the years after he retreated, reflected, apologized, meditated, everything short of moving to a monastery. Emancipation earned polite nods, not applause. He focused on family healing and rebuilding the Will Smith brand, the one without the right hook. Now he's teasing new projects, even Bad Boys 5. Because let's be honest, Hollywood loves a comeback almost as much as it loves chaos. But no matter what he does next, that slap is tattooed on his legacy forever. The moment one of Hollywood's brightest stars learned the hard way that in showbiz every second counts, especially the ones caught on live TV. Number 5. Thomas Gibson. Thomas Gibson spent over a decade playing Aaron Hotchner on Criminal Minds, the calm, razor-focused FBI profiler who could stare down serial killers without blinking. Fans loved him, castmates respected him, and for 12 seasons he was basically the dad boss and silent threat of the entire BAU. Then one kick ended everything, literally. In 2016, during an argument over a script, Thomas lost his cool and kicked a writer-producer. Yes, kicked, as in karate, but make it HR nightmare. At first, the studio suspended him, hoping maybe everyone could breathe, reset, and pretend this was just another case of method acting gone wrong. But Hollywood never forgets, especially when you have another past incident that involved anger issues. Suddenly, the narrative shifted from beloved TV leader to dude who drop-kicks coworkers, and the studios were like, yeah, we're done here. Within weeks, Thomas was fired. No plot twist, no redemption arc, just a clean cut. Criminal Minds wrote Hotchner off by sending him into witness protection to save his son, which is Hollywood code for, "You're not coming back, buddy." Since then, Thomas has lived a quieter life, popping up in tiny indie films and spending his time on family golf and photography, the least violent hobby imaginable, which honestly feels intentional. Fans still argue he deserved another chance, but the industry doesn't gamble on on-set roundhouse kicks. His story is a sharp reminder you can spend years building a career and lose it faster than you can say, "Cut weight, don't kick anybody." In Hollywood, one bad moment can do what 100 serial killers couldn't take Hotchner down. Number 6. Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf used to be Hollywood's golden chaos child, the breakout kid from Even Stevens who rocketed to superstardom with Transformers. He was funny, daring, unpredictable in a charming way, and studios loved him because audiences couldn't look away. Shia wasn't just a star, he was the guy you called when you needed a jolt of absolutely unfiltered energy. Then the chaos stopped being cute. After a few years at the top, Shia's off-screen behavior started spiraling faster than a Michael Bay car crash. Arrests for disorderly conduct, public drunken meltdowns, bizarre performance art stunts, including wearing a paper bag on his head that said "I am not famous anymore," and a museum installation where fans could sit in silence with him. Yes, that happened. Hollywood tried to be patient for about 5 minutes. Then things got darker. In 2020, serious allegations of emotional and physical abuse emerged from former partners. The public reaction was instant, intense, and devastating. Shia's projects were canceled, his agents stepped back, and directors crossed his name off call sheets with the speed of someone deleting search history. Suddenly, the eccentric actor with a wild streak became the center of a scandal storm no PR team on Earth could tame. Even fans who once defended his artistic madness said, "Okay, that's enough method acting for one lifetime." To his credit, Shia entered treatment, acknowledged needing help, and largely disappeared from the spotlight, except for a few indie roles and spiritual retreats that sound like side quests in a redemption video game. But Hollywood, it's not ready to forgive, at least not yet. Shia LaBeouf remains a cautionary tale wrapped in raw talent, wild ambition, and a meltdown reel so intense it deserves its own documentary. Number 7. Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen was once the highest-paid man on television, the king of 2.5 Men, the walking embodiment of 2000's sitcom swagger. He had the fame, the paycheck, the punchlines, and an audience of millions who tuned in weekly just to watch him be Charlie Sheen. Then he went full Charlie Sheen, and the downfall was spectacular. Around 2011, Charlie's life started unraveling so loudly it practically had its own soundtrack. Public rants, bizarre interviews, feuds with creator Chuck Lorre, all delivered with the intensity of someone who thought sleep was optional and self-control was a myth. He coined phrases like winning and tiger blood, leaving America wondering if they'd accidentally tuned into a parallel universe. His meltdown became a cultural event. One minute he was the star of TV's biggest comedy. The next he was live streaming chaos, trashing his boss, and being escorted out of his own show's success, like a guest who'd broken too many lamps at the party. Warner Brothers finally said, "Okay, that's enough," and fired him, not gently, not quietly, but with the decisiveness of someone slamming a door on a raccoon that keeps trying to break in. After that, Charlie bounced into Anger Management, a show whose title felt less like a premise and more like a cosmic joke. But the magic was gone, replaced with tabloid headlines, health disclosures, and a career that never quite found its footing again. Today, Charlie Sheen is a Hollywood legend, but not the kind he once aimed for. He's the cautionary tale professors should teach in how to lose a $1.8 million per episode job in 10 days. Number 8. Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson used to be Hollywood's ultimate tough guy, the warrior king of Braveheart, the action hero of Lethal Weapon, the director who made studios throw awards at him like confetti. He had grit, charm, talent, and just the right amount of wild that made audiences think, yeah, I'd follow this guy into battle. Then the scandals arrived, and they arrived loud. In 2006, Mel was arrested for a DUI, and what could have been a routine celebrity screw-up turned into a PR apocalypse. His drunken rant, filled with offensive, inflammatory comments, hit the press, and Hollywood collectively dropped its popcorn. Suddenly, nobody was talking about his Oscars. They were talking about that meltdown. But Mel doubled down on chaos. More controversies followed. Leaked recordings, explosive arguments, accusations of abusive behavior, the kind of tabloid fuel that had late-night hosts sending him thank-you cards. Studios fled like they were evacuating a burning building. Projects vanished, partnerships dissolved, and Mel went from box office hero to Hollywood exile practically overnight. For years, he stayed on the fringe doing small projects and issuing public apologies like they were seasonal specials. But Hollywood is weirdly forgiving, especially when you can direct a hit. With Hacksaw Ridge, Mel staged an unexpected comeback, reminding everyone, hey, I may cause PR nightmares, but I still make killer movies. Today, Mel Gibson sits in a strange Hollywood limbo, half legend, half cautionary tale, proof that talent can resurrect a career, but scandals will always ride shotgun. Because in Hollywood, 1 minute you're shouting, freedom. The next, you're just shouting and nobody wants to hear it. Number 9. Armie Hammer. Armie Hammer once looked like Hollywood's next golden boy, tall, charming, sculpted like someone designed him in a casting lab. After The Social Network and Call Me By Your Name, everyone thought he was on the fast track to A-list royalty. Studios loved him, audiences loved him. Your mom probably loved him. Then 2021 happened, and Hollywood collectively choked on its popcorn. Out of nowhere, a series of leaked messages, allegedly from Hammer, hit the internet filled with disturbing fantasies and, let's just say, culinary themes no one asked for. Social media went full detective mode, and by the end of the week, the memes were multiplying faster than his PR team could scream into their pillows. Hammer denied the messages were real, but more women came forward with accusations of manipulation and abusive behavior, and suddenly, the story went from weird internet rumor to full-blown Hollywood crisis. Within days, every major role on his schedule evaporated. His agency dropped him with the speed of someone closing a tab they definitely weren't supposed to have open. Hollywood didn't just distance itself, it hit the eject button. Then came House of Hammer, a documentary diving into his family's dark, messy, multi-generational baggage. It was the kind of content that made people say, wow, maybe my family isn't so bad after all. By 2022, reports surfaced that Hammer was selling timeshares in the Cayman Islands, a plot twist no screenwriter would dare pitch because it sounds too on the nose. The man who once breezed through red carpets was suddenly hustling vacation packages like a guy named Brad at a resort lobby. These days, Hammer stays far from the spotlight. His name still floats around Hollywood, but mostly as a cautionary whisper, a reminder that careers can collapse faster than you can say, wait, what did he text? His fall wasn't just steep, it was cinematic in all the wrong ways. Number 10. Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey wasn't just a star, he was Hollywood royalty. 2 Oscars, a legendary career, and the kind of on-screen intensity that made you lean forward and think, this man could outact a brick wall. As Frank Underwood in House of Cards, he didn't just break the fourth wall, he kicked it down and delivered a speech on top of the rubble. For years, Spacey felt untouchable. Then 2017 arrived like a plot twist nobody wanted. When actor Anthony Rapp accused Spacey of inappropriate behavior from decades earlier, Hollywood froze mid-sip. Within days, more men came forward, and suddenly one of the industry's most respected actors was at the center of a storm so big it made House of Cards look like light comedy. Spacey responded with a vague apology, paired with a surprise. "Oh, by the way, here's my coming out announcement," which the public immediately labeled as absolutely not the time, sir. The backlash was instant. Fans were stunned. PR professionals everywhere aged 10 years overnight. Netflix cut ties within hours. House of Cards deleted him from the show like hitting backspace on a problematic email. Ridley Scott made cinematic history by reshooting every scene of All the Money in the World with a different actor in a few weeks. That's the Hollywood equivalent of replacing your wedding photos because you didn't like the groom. Even though Spacey was later acquitted or had cases dismissed in court, the damage was already scorched earth deep. Projects vanished. His reputation evaporated. The man once considered one of the greatest living actors was suddenly doing small indie films so obscure they might as well be filmed in witness protection. Today, Spacey stands as one of Hollywood's most dramatic downfalls, a reminder that talent can take you to the top, but character decides whether you get to stay there. In Hollywood, no amount of Oscars can save you when the spotlight turns into a searchlight. Number 11. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan was once Hollywood's favorite troublemaking princess, the teen queen who conquered the 2000s with The Parent Trap Freaky Friday and the cultural masterpiece known as Mean Girls. She had talent, charisma, and the kind of star power that made studios throw scripts at her like confetti. At one point, it looked like she'd be the next big thing, maybe even the biggest thing. Then came the saga, and oh boy was it a saga. DUIs, arrests, probation violations, rehab stints, court dates that played out like a long-running TV drama. Lindsay's life became Hollywood's favorite tabloid subscription. If there was a headline involving chaos, Lindsay somehow walked into it like she was following a script titled Maximum Disaster, the Musical. Directors stopped hiring her. Insurance companies refused to cover her. Sets became war zones of late arrivals, missed lines, and mysterious absences. Hollywood wasn't just worried, it was exhausted. But not Lindsay. No, she powered through like a phoenix wrapped in a pink fur coat. She tried a music career, a reality show, a beach club in Mykonos, yes, really, and then slowly, quietly, began stitching her image back together. And in the ultimate plot twist, Lindsay Lohan is now making a comeback. Netflix movies, public goodwill, a reputation that has somehow aged from unpredictable starlet to chaos icon turned wholesome adult. Her story stands as Hollywood's favorite reminder you can fall spectacularly, but if you fall fabulously enough, people will cheer when you rise. Number 12. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp was once Hollywood's quirky crown jewel, the man who could play a pirate, a mad hatter, a chocolate factory owner, and somehow make all of them look strangely normal. With Pirates of the Caribbean, he became a global icon, a box office treasure chest, and the face of more eyeliner than any rock band in the 90s. Then came the courtroom saga that swallowed his career whole. When accusations of abuse surfaced from his former partner, Amber Heard, Hollywood reacted like someone had unplugged the power grid. Disney distanced itself, immediately dropping Captain Jack Sparrow faster than a cursed gold coin. Roles vanished, studios backed away, and Depp, one of the most bankable stars on Earth, suddenly found himself exiled from the industry he once dominated. But the real spectacle, the defamation trials, the world watched like it was the Super Bowl of celebrity meltdowns. The courtroom had everything: shocking audio clips, bizarre text messages, witness testimonies that felt like side quests, and memes spreading across the internet faster than you could say. Objection, hearsay. For a while, Depp's image sank like the black pearl in a storm. He lost roles, millions of dollars, and the public's trust until the tide turned. When he won the 2022 defamation case, the internet practically crowned him the comeback king. Fans celebrated, TikTok exploded, and Hollywood suddenly remembered. Oh right, this guy prints money. Still, despite the win, Depp's career didn't return instantly. He re-emerged slowly through indie films, European festivals, and art projects. No longer the blockbuster machine he once was, but a quieter, more deliberate version of himself. Johnny Depp's saga is one of Hollywood's wildest rides, a spectacular fall, a courtroom circus, and a comeback fueled by fans' memes and sheer pirate stubbornness. Number 13. Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr was once the unstoppable queen of American sitcoms, the blue-collar icon who made Roseanne a television powerhouse long before streaming existed. She was bold, loud, funny, and had the kind of "I'll say whatever I want" energy that made fans adore her. And studio execs keep antacids in their desk drawers. Then 2018 hit, and her career disappeared faster than a commercial break. It all started with a single tweet. One tweet. Just a few reckless words posted in the middle of the night, and boom. The internet exploded like someone dropped a match into a fireworks factory. The comment, widely condemned as racist, spread across social media at warp speed. ABC didn't wait for the reruns. They canceled the hit reboot of Roseanne the same day, a move so fast it made Hollywood history. Imagine having the #1 TV show in America 1 minute, and the next minute your entire cast is at home texting. So, are we fired too? The network later relaunched the series as The Conners, basically. Roseanne, but without Roseanne. Talk about the ultimate Hollywood breakup. After that, Barr claimed she was misunderstood, medicated, misquoted everything short of "my dog tweeted it." But the damage was done. Sponsors bailed. Hollywood distanced itself. Late-night comedians threw an absolute feast. Still, Roseanne is. Roseanne unpredictable, unfiltered, and allergic to the concept of laying low. She resurfaced through stand-up shows, podcasts, and online rants that prove the woman absolutely refuses to go quietly into the TV graveyard. Number 14. Katherine Heigl. Katherine Heigl was once poised to become Hollywood's next rom-com queen, the charming blonde sweetheart who lit up Grey's Anatomy, stole scenes in Knocked Up, and looked like she was on a straight shot to A-list royalty. For a moment, she was the face of romantic comedies, the woman every studio wanted and every magazine adored. And then she accidentally set her own career on fire. It started with the 2008 Emmys. Heigl publicly withdrew her name from consideration, saying she hadn't been given the material worthy of a nomination. Ouch. What she meant as honesty sounded to writers and producers like, "Thanks for the paycheck, but your scripts are garbage." Hollywood chuckled nervously. The Grey's Anatomy team did not. Then came Knocked Up. Instead of praising the film that boosted her career, Heigl called it sexist in interviews. Audiences blinked. The cast blinked. And Judd Apatow blinked so hard, he practically left the industry for a few minutes. In an environment where press tours are built on being nice, Katherine showed up with a flamethrower. Suddenly the words difficult, ungrateful, and hard to work with started orbiting her name like satellites. And in Hollywood, a town powered by relationships and good vibes that's basically career kryptonite, the offers dried up. The big roles disappeared. Studios politely pretended they had no upcoming projects whenever her agent called. The rom-com Queen in the Making had become the town's most avoidable phone call. Heigl later apologized, saying everything was a misunderstanding, and she never meant to offend anyone. But Hollywood has a long memory, and the diva label sticks like industrial glue. Today, Katherine Heigl is still working, appearing in smaller series and indie films, living a quieter life, far from the high-stakes rom-com throne she once nearly ruled. She once nearly ruled. She once nearly ruled. She once nearly ruled.
Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you.
Ever wonder how Hollywood's biggest stars can make millions and still end up broker than your college roommate on payday? From dinosaur skull shopping sprees to platinum-plated swimming pools, these celebs prove that no fortune is too big to burn. Buckle up, because we're diving into the wild, unbelievable, and downright ridiculous ways actors manage to blow their money faster than a blockbuster flop on opening weekend. Number 1. Kim Basinger. Kim Basinger wasn't just a Hollywood beauty, she was an Oscar-winning powerhouse who somehow managed to lose her fortune without ever buying a dinosaur skull, a castle, or a platinum swimming pool. No, Kim's downfall came from something far more dangerous: terrible investments and Hollywood contracts gone nuclear. At the height of her career, Kim decided to buy an entire town, yes, a town in Georgia, with dreams of turning it into a tourist hotspot and film festival paradise. It sounded like something out of a Hallmark movie until reality hit, and she ended up losing $20 million faster than you can say real estate mistake. But the financial chaos didn't stop there. In 1993, Kim backed out of a contract to star in the highly controversial film Boxing Helena. Hollywood didn't take the breakup well. The studio sued her so hard it practically launched her into orbit. By the end of the legal battle, Kim owed nearly $9 million later, negotiated down to $4 million. But either way, her bank account was bruised like a boxer on the ropes. Unlike other celebrities who crashed their finances with wild parties or questionable purchases, Kim's downfall was oddly responsible looking. She didn't blow cash on exotic pets or 18-bedroom mansions. She simply made a few gigantic, world-class bad decisions. The kind accountants have nightmares about. Number 2. Sinbad. Sinbad wasn't just a comedy superstar of the 90s. He was the guy who could fill arenas with laughter and still somehow end up filing for bankruptcy, not once but twice, without ever buying anything ridiculous, like a private jet or a platinum-coated swimming pool. His financial downfall didn't come from wild parties, luxury cars, or a volcano-shaped hot tub. No, Sinbad lost everything in the most responsible but disastrous way possible, trying to make movies. According to Sinbad, every dollar he made went straight into cameras, lights, equipment, and producing films he hoped would hit it big. Spoiler alert, they didn't. His projects flopped harder than a sitcom pilot that never airs, and instead of cutting his losses, Sinbad did the most dangerous financial move of all: he kept investing. Then borrowing more. By 2009, he was drowning in over $2 million of tax debt and filed for bankruptcy the first time. 4 years later, in 2013, the sequel dropped, Bankruptcy 2. The IRS strikes back. This time he owed a staggering $11 million, all while driving the same old car and wearing the same clothes he'd always worn. Sinbad became the poster child for the phrase, Good intentions, terrible outcomes. While other celebrities proudly parade their mansions and luxury toys, Sinbad had to repeatedly assure people, "Have you ever seen me in a Bentley? Have you ever seen me wearing gold chains?" And honestly, no one had. Number 3. Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage isn't just an actor, he's a financial myth, a Hollywood hurricane with a credit card. While regular celebrities buy a nice car or a beach house, Cage looked at his $150 million fortune and treated it like it was melting in his hands. And so began the wildest, most chaotic shopping spree Hollywood has ever witnessed. He dropped nearly $300, $1,000 on a dinosaur skull, only to return it after discovering it had been stolen from a Mongolian museum. He bought a pet octopus because it helps with acting. Sure, Nick. He purchased a 9-foot-tall tomb in case he wanted to pyramid scheme his way into the afterlife. And of course, he collected mansions like Pokemon, a $10 million European castle, a $16 million Rhode Island estate, and more homes than most people have socks. Though Cage blamed his financial manager for bad advice, fans weren't buying it. Did the manager force him into buying a stolen dinosaur head, or convince him that a haunted castle was a smart investment? Unlikely. By 2011, Cage had officially performed the impossible, transforming an Oscar-winning fortune into IRS debt of over $10 million. Commenters were baffled. Some admired the madness. Let's be honest, I'd buy a dinosaur skull too. Others were stunned. Bro, I'm struggling with my $80 phone bill, and this man's phone cost $15,000. Yet through all the castles, creatures, comics, and catastrophes, Nicolas Cage remains a legend. Proof that no matter how rich you are, you can still shop your way into financial extinction with enough enthusiasm. Number 4. 50 Cent. 50 Cent didn't just get rich. He skyrocketed from the streets to a $150 million throne, then somehow managed to swan dive straight off it. At his peak, he lived like a man convinced money was a renewable resource. Luxury cars stacked like collectibles, an 18-bedroom mansion so big it needed its own zip code, and business ventures that crashed harder than his mixtape beats. Then came the recession of 2008, and suddenly 50's financial empire folded like a cheap lawn chair in a hurricane. But instead of slowing down, he added rocket fuel to the disaster. In a moment of pure bro, don't do that. Released a private tape of his ex without consent because he was mad she was dating someone else. The judge did not find this emotionally compelling. What he did find compelling, a $7 million fine that drop-kicked 50 straight into bankruptcy court. Overnight, the man who once rapped about getting rich or dying trying was trying not to bounce a check. He sold his mega mansion for a pitiful $3 million, which is basically what the electric bill looked like every winter. The exotic cars gone, the high roller lifestyle on pause, the ego probably still intact. Fans couldn't believe it. How does someone go from $150 million to insufficient funds, that fast, bad investments, terrible decisions? Maybe. But one thing's certain, 50 Cent proved that even when you're on top of the world, a recession, some lawsuits, and a dash of petty revenge can send your finances into a full-blown remix. And yet, through all the chaos, 50 remains a legend. Just one who now reads contracts a little more carefully. Number 5. Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson may have been the queen of Baywatch, but when it came to money, she was running in slow motion straight into financial disaster. At her peak, she had fame, fortune, and enough magazine covers to wallpaper a mansion, which she actually owned, and then promptly spent millions improving in the most chaotic ways possible. Pam once spent $3 million to tile a pool with platinum. Not diamonds, not gold platinum. And the plot twist. She didn't even live in the house. It was the ultimate because I can purchase and her bank account never recovered from the flex. Add in a lineup of expensive divorces that could make a lawyer retire early, a long battle with the IRS over unpaid taxes, and a never-ending shopping spree featuring designer clothes, cosmetic procedures, and enough beauty treatments to power a small spa empire. And Pamela's finances were basically a sinking lifeguard tower. Then came the cherry on top. In 2022, a private tape of hers was stolen, and the thief tried to sell it for nearly $200,000. As if her financial life wasn't dramatic enough, now she had a criminal side plot too. Number 6, Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser wasn't just a movie star. He was the lovable, action-packed hero of the 90s and early 2000s. From The Mummy to George of the Jungle, he was Hollywood's golden boy, the kind of actor who could jump off a cliff in a scene and still land safely in the audience's hearts. But behind the adventures, Brendan was quietly facing a real-life downfall worthy of its own tragic script. His career hit a wall when the physical demands of his roles caught up with him. Brendan wasn't just bruising his ego, he was literally bruising his body. Surgeries piled up like overdue library books, and he eventually stepped away from acting to heal mentally and physically. The break was necessary, but Hollywood doesn't pause for anybody. Then came the bombshell. Brendan revealed he had been sexually assaulted by a powerful Hollywood executive, a confession that allegedly led to him being quietly blacklisted. One day he was headlining blockbusters. The next, he was vanishing from red carpets, like he'd walked into a cinematic trapdoor. To make things worse, Brendan was hit with a messy and expensive divorce in 2008. Court fees, alimony, child support. His bank account was bleeding faster than an action movie extra. Without steady acting income, Brendan simply couldn't keep up. The man who once had nearly $50 million watched his financial stability crumble like an ancient ruin from The Mummy. Fans were devastated. How does Hollywood's sweetest himbo warrior go from box office king to broken? It wasn't bad spending or wild living, it was pain politics and terrible timing. But here's the plot twist: Brendan rose again. With his emotional comeback in The Whale 2022, he reminded the world why they loved him, proving that while fortune can disappear, heart, talent, and resilience never do. Brendan Fraser didn't just survive the downfall, he earned his redemption arc. Number 7, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp wasn't just a movie star, he was Hollywood royalty. Captain Jack Sparrow himself, the man who could charm a crowd with a raised eyebrow and a slightly drunk swagger. At his peak, Johnny was pulling in $30 million per movie and ruling an empire built on eccentric brilliance. But somewhere along the line, his financial ship hit an iceberg made of outrageous spending, questionable advisors, and enough wine to fill the Black Pearl. Johnny didn't just enjoy luxury, he maxed it out. By 2017, he owned 14 properties, including an entire French village. Yes, a village, a luxury yacht, worth nearly $20 million, and close to 50 vehicles. His art collection, huge. His guitar collection, even bigger. His wine budget, a staggering $30,000 per month, basically a vineyard on autopay. And then came the lawsuits. Johnny claimed his financial managers blew his money. The managers claimed Johnny spent like a man trying to speedrun bankruptcy. Honestly, both sides sounded believable. After all, it's hard to explain away multi-million-dollar impulse purchases, private islands, and a staff payroll that looked like it belonged to a small corporation. But the real financial meteor struck when his explosive years-long legal battle with Amber Heard took center stage. Between legal fees, settlements, and the PR disaster that swallowed his career whole, Johnny's bank account took more damage than a pirate ship under cannon fire. Number 8. Stephen Baldwin. Stephen Baldwin wasn't just part of Hollywood's most recognizable acting family. He was the Baldwin brother, who somehow managed to speedrun his finances straight into the negative zone. While his brothers collected awards rolls and residual checks, Stephen collected something else entirely: debt. Lots and lots of debt. Despite starring in major films and building a solid acting resume, Stephen's financial life read like a cautionary tale written by the IRS. The trouble started when he decided taxes were more of a suggestion than a requirement. For 3 years, he simply didn't pay them. Unsurprisingly, the IRS responded with the enthusiasm of a hungry wolf. In 2012, Stephen was arrested for tax evasion, a headline no actor wants, but one Stephen ended up wearing like an unwanted red carpet accessory. But the IRS drama was only phase 1 of his financial meltdown. After stepping away from mainstream Hollywood to focus on faith-based films, Stephen's income took a nosedive. Then came the 2008 recession, which hit him harder than a low-budget stunt gone wrong. With fewer roles and shrinking paychecks, Stephen found himself drowning in over $750,000 of credit card debt, plus $800,000 in overdue mortgage payments, and a previous $1 million tax bill looming overhead like a horror movie villain. By the time the dust settled, Stephen's net worth had dropped to a shocking negative $2 million. Fans were stunned. How does a Baldwin end up broker than a college kid eating instant noodles? Stephen blamed bad accountants. The accountants blamed him. Meanwhile, the IRS blamed nobody, they just wanted their money. Still, through bankruptcy filings and financial disasters, Stephen Baldwin remained resilient. If nothing else, his story proves that even Hollywood royalty can end up broke if they ignore taxes, mismanage their money, and have timing worse than a sitcom laugh track. Number 9. Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker wasn't just funny, he was one of the highest-paid actors on the planet. After Rush Hour, the man was pulling in over $20 million per movie. That's retire early money. That's buy your mom a mansion and still have change money. But Chris looked at that fortune and said, "Let's test gravity," then dropped it straight into a financial black hole. Instead of building momentum after Rush Hour, Chris basically hit the brakes and parked his career. No new movies, no new projects, no new income, just vibes. Meanwhile, he was busy living like the checks were still rolling in. Mansions, he bought them. Luxury cars, of course. Expenses through the roof. Taxes, well, about that. For several years, Chris straight up ignored the IRS like they were an ex texting at 3 a.m. But the IRS always texts back. And when they did, they came with a $14 million bill. Suddenly, the man famous for yelling, "Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?" couldn't understand the numbers coming out of his accountant's calculator. Fans were stunned. How does someone go from $20 million a movie to, "Sorry, I can't afford that, easy, stop working. Keep spending, don't pay taxes." It's the financial version of a triple combo knockout. Chris eventually started selling off his homes like a clearance sale. Everything must go, prices slashed. Take the granite countertops too. And every year he kept chipping away at that IRS mountain like a very tired miner. Despite the chaos, Chris Tucker remains iconic proof that being funny can make you rich, but ignoring your taxes will make you humble real fast. Number 10. Leif Garrett. Leif Garrett wasn't just famous, he was 1970s teenage girl screaming posters on every wall, heartthrob level famous. He was basically the Justin Bieber of his era, but with even bigger hair and even worse life decisions. While the world saw a golden boy behind the scenes, Leif was speedrunning chaos like it was his true calling. He started using drugs at 14 years old, and things went downhill like a runaway skateboard on a steep street. By 18, Leif made the disastrous decision to drive under the influence, resulting in a horrific crash that left his friend Roland Winkler partially paralyzed. The lawsuit that followed blasted millions out of Leif's fortune faster than you can rip down a celebrity poster. Most people might take a tragedy like that as a wake-up call. Not Leif. He doubled down on bad choices like it was a competition. In 1997, he was arrested for possessing a mysterious white powder, and 2 years later, he was caught trying to buy yet another narcotic, this time made from poppy extract. At this point, it felt less like a career and more like a reality show titled, "How Fast Can Leif Ruin?" Everything legal fees piled up, rehab visits came and went, and Leif burned through his money like it was confetti at a concert. He could no longer sell out. By the time he hit rock bottom, he wasn't just broke, he was deep in debt, claiming he had thousands of dollars in the negatives. Fans who once adored him couldn't believe it. How did a superstar teen idol go from magazine covers to mugshots? Simple add fame, subtract guidance, multiply by reckless decisions, and divide by the IRS. Yet somehow, Leif Garrett remains a nostalgic icon, a cautionary tale wrapped in charisma hairspray, and the reminder that fame can disappear faster than a teenage crush. Number 11. Gary Busey. Gary Busey wasn't just a Hollywood actor, he was a full-throttle, big-energy, unpredictable force of nature who seemed to live his entire life like one long improv scene. With more than 50 movies under his belt, Gary had the fame, the fortune, and the talent. But unfortunately, he also had one fatal weakness, an expensive, destructive love affair with hard substances. While other stars lose their money on mansions, sports cars, or bizarre exotic pets, Gary managed to blow through millions simply by feeding his addictions. It was like watching someone pour their bank account into a black hole, except the black hole talked fast, got them arrested, and ruined all their credit. By 2012, the situation was so bad that Gary had only $50,000 left to his name. Now, $50K might sound like a decent emergency fund, but not when you owe over $500,000 in debts to banks' creditors, and of course, the IRS, the final boss of every ruined celebrity financial story. When he finally filed for bankruptcy, fans were stunned. This was the guy who once lit up the screen, the man with the wild eyes, and even wilder performances. How do you go from Hollywood icon to sorry, we can't approve your loan application so fast? Easy let addiction steer the ship straight into an iceberg. Gary eventually had to take regular jobs to claw his way out of the financial crater, a far cry from the red carpets and movie sets he once ruled. But even through the chaos, Gary remained unapologetically, undeniably, Gary unpredictable, eccentric, and somehow still charismatic. Today he stands as a warning that fame doesn't make you invincible, and that even a Hollywood legend can end up broke if the only thing you invest in is your own self-destruction. Number 12. Janice Dickinson. Janice Dickinson wasn't just a model, she was the supermodel before the word even existed. Fierce walk, sharper attitude, and a confidence level, somewhere between runway goddess and I own this planet. But while she conquered fashion, money conquered her. And it did so with the kind of messy flair only Janice could deliver. At her peak, Janice lived like a woman permanently on the cover of Vogue shopping sprees that could bankrupt a small country designer, clothes she wore once and then forgot existed, and impulsive purchases that made her credit card smoke like a malfunctioning runway light. She didn't just love luxury, she inhaled it. But the biggest financial hurricane in her life wasn't handbags or high heels, it was plastic surgery. Janice spent fortunes trying to preserve the face that made her famous, going under the knife so many times, she could have qualified for a frequent shopper discount. Nip here, tuck there, lift everywhere. Her beauty upkeep budget was basically the GDP of a medium-sized island. As the bills stacked up, the modeling gigs slowed down. Hollywood moved on to younger faces. Reality TV didn't pay like the runway days. And soon Janice found herself drowning in more than $1 million of debt. Creditors were circling, the IRS was knocking, and Janice, ever the diva, was still insisting on looking fabulous, while everything financially caught fire behind her. Fans weren't surprised exactly. Janice had always been larger than life, but they were stunned by how fast things unraveled. How does the world's first supermodel end up with empty pockets, simple spend like a superstar, long after the world stops paying you like one? Number 13. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson wasn't just a boxer, he was a one-man wrecking ball, a knockout machine who turned opponents into highlights and built a fortune so massive it looked unspendable. At his peak, Iron Mike had $400 million. That's billionaire-adjacent money. That's buy an island and name it Uppercut Island money. But somehow, Mike managed to burn through every last dollar with the enthusiasm of a kid let loose in a candy store. Except the candy store was made of mansions, exotic animals, and legal disasters. Tyson didn't do anything halfway. He owned over 100 cars, because apparently 24 weren't enough. His mansion was so huge it could have doubled as an airport. And then there were the pets, not dogs, not cats, but 3 white Bengal tigers, because Mike Tyson doesn't adopt animals. He summons bosses from a video game. He also bought a $2 million gold bathtub, because why bathe like a normal human when you can soak like a pharaoh? His shopping list looked less like expenses and more like loot from a mythical quest. But the real body blows came from the legal side. Mike was arrested nearly 40 times, got entangled in one of the most expensive divorces of the decade, and owed millions in alimony and settlements. Every courtroom visit seemed to punch a hole straight through his bank account. By the 2000s, the unstoppable heavyweight champion was filing for bankruptcy. His $400 million empire evaporated like sweat under stadium lights. Fans were stunned. How do you lose the kind of money that entire nations operate on? Simple: add legal chaos, subtract financial guidance, multiply by tigers, and finish with a $2 million bathtub. Number 14. Heidi Montag. Heidi Montag wasn't just a reality TV star. She was one half of the most chaotic paparazzi-fueling duo to ever storm the set of The Hills. Alongside her husband Spencer Pratt, Heidi turned fame into a full-blown lifestyle, and then turned that lifestyle into a financial train wreck worthy of its own reality show. At their peak, Heidi and Spencer had $10 million more than enough to coast into early retirement, invest smartly, or at least buy a solid house and chill. Instead, they treated their bank account like a bottomless piñata. Heidi blew $1 million on clothes alone, like she was trying to personally keep the entire fashion industry alive. Then came the $15,000 a night retainer fees for security and chauffeurs, because apparently driving yourself is for peasants. And let's not forget their dining habits, thousands of dollars on fancy dinners, sometimes daily, because nothing says financial responsibility like spending the price of a used car on appetizers. Their managers begged them to stop. Their accountants begged them to stop. Even common sense begged them to stop. But Heidi admitted later, "We pretended we knew what we were doing." Spoiler, they did not. As opportunities dried up and their fame faded faster than a spray tan in the rain, the money evaporated. The couple went from red carpets to budgeting reality shows, from VIP tables to coupon clipping. By the time the dust settled, their millions were long gone, leaving them hustling for whatever TV gigs they could land. Fans couldn't help but shake their heads. How do you burn through $10 million without buying a mansion, a yacht, or even a pet tiger? Simple, eat like royalty, dress like a Kardashian, and spend like the world ends tomorrow. Yet through every financial disaster, Heidi Montag remains unapologetically herself. Proof that even if you lose all your money, you can still keep your confidence, your fame, and your place in the reality TV Hall of Chaos. Number 15. Brett Butler. Brett Butler wasn't just a sitcom star. She was the sharp-tongued, quick-witted powerhouse who lit up the screen in Grace Under Fire. At her peak, Brett had fame, success, and enough comedic talent to roast an entire room without breaking a sweat. But behind the scenes, her life was unraveling faster than a cheap sweater caught on a nail. Her downfall didn't begin with wild shopping sprees or diamond-encrusted nonsense. It began with addiction. Brett fell deep into substance abuse, and it chewed through her career, her stability, and eventually her bank account. Hollywood can forgive a lot, but it does not forgive unreliability. Soon her jobs dried up, her income vanished, and she found herself spiraling far from the spotlight she once dominated. Things got so bad that Brett ended up 6 months behind on rent, staring down eviction notices like plot twists she really didn't want. A friend eventually stepped in and created a GoFundMe just so she could stay afloat, a heartbreaking contrast to the superstar who once commanded primetime television. But the chaos didn't stop at addiction. Brett also managed to lose piles of money by trusting the wrong people. She lent out huge sums to acquaintances who apparently thought loan meant free sample. Combined with questionable investments and guilt-fueled generosity, her finances didn't just shrink, they imploded. Brett later admitted, "I felt guilty for having it all, and I couldn't give it away fast enough." Unfortunately, her bank account was more than happy to help with that mission. Fans were shocked. How does a woman with a hit sitcom, awards, and millions in earnings end up broke? Simple: mix Hollywood pressure, bad habits, and an overly generous heart, then shake vigorously. Yet through every setback, Brett Butler survived. Bruised, broke, but still standing, proof that even when life burns your script, you can still find the strength to write a new one. 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 Hollywood loves to sell us dreams, red carpets, perfect smiles. We're like a family on set. Yeah, right. Behind the scenes, some of these stars act less like icons and more like total nightmares. From diva meltdowns to straight-up bullying and bizarre behavior, here are Hollywood jerks who prove that fame doesn't always come with basic human decency. Number 1. Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres built an empire on kindness, dancing into living rooms, cracking jokes, gifting cars, and preaching, "Be kind." But in 2020, the curtain got yanked back, and suddenly America's nicest talk show host looked more like the plot twist villain in her own feel-good sitcom. It all started when comedian Kevin T. Porter tweeted asking for stories about Ellen being mean. And oh boy, Hollywood didn't just whisper, it detonated. From fans to former staffers, people unloaded stories like they'd been waiting their whole lives. Ellen scolding employees over their scent, icing out staff she didn't like, or firing off insults with the precision of a stand-up sniper. Things escalated fast when allegations surfaced about a toxic work environment on her show. Some employees spoke about racist remarks, microaggressions, and a culture of fear where everyone just prayed they wouldn't be the day's target. One person even claimed Ellen tried to get her fired from her second job over chipped nail polish. Yes, nail polish. Suddenly, the woman known for surprise hugs was accused of giving emotional chokeholds behind the scenes. Fans were stunned. Viewers were confused. And Hollywood went, "Yeah, we knew." Ellen promised to improve things, but the damage was done. In the end, the biggest shock wasn't that a celebrity had a dark side. It's that the queen of kindness might have been ruling her kingdom with an iron, perfectly manicured fist. Number 2. Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard is known for delivering powerhouse performances on screen, but off-screen. He's more like the chaotic subplot nobody asked for. The Empire star has built a reputation for strange opinions, questionable behavior, and enough awkward interviews to power an entire season of reality TV. One of his most infamous moments came during a 2007 interview with Elle, where Terrence decided to share his, let's call them, unique thoughts on women's hygiene. According to him, women aren't clean unless they use baby wipes because apparently Terrence Howard fancies himself the CEO of cleanliness. The internet collectively said, "Sir, please sit down." But his quirky views aren't the only reason Hollywood side-eyes him. Terrence has long been labeled difficult on set, demanding, and unpredictable. His biggest career mess getting replaced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He played James Rhodey Rhodes in Iron Man, then vanished faster than a post-credit villain. Rumor has it he wanted a massive pay raise and clashed with the studio so hard they threw the War Machine suit straight to Don Cheadle. Between his bizarre philosophies, diva-like demands, and professional clashes, Terrence Howard has earned a reputation as Hollywood's brilliantly talented but endlessly baffling wild card. Number 3. James Corden. James Corden may look like the cuddly, karaoke-loving host America adores, but off-camera, oh boy, different movie, different genre. While he beams on TV like your friendly neighborhood jokester, countless stories paint him more like the final boss of restaurant customers. In 2022, a famous New York restaurateur straight up banned him, calling Corden the most abusive customer in 25 years.